organization, no Caribbean organization, like that comes straight off the mud out in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Like where we come from, and I'm like, damn, like certain shit I expect from certain people, so it's like whatever. We know the truth already. You know what I'm saying regarding the origins of hip hop. So I'm just like, how we stand on business moving forward and gatekeep our culture, because the proof is in the pudding. Like you got a few of them who came in and been successful, but for the for the most part, everybody know what it is with that. Like it's our shit. So it's like moving forward, how do we gatekeep it? But I'm gonna just drop down because I just wanted to like give my spill on Busta Rhymes. His background alone, like man, that shit is crazy to me. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Like he God body, he should know that.
Oh, we definitely appreciate that, Tyrone, and definitely if you got something else to say, please go ahead. And here's the thing, man, y'all, your whole fashion, your whole slang, your whole lingo, everything you talking about, man, people weren't even talking like this in Jamaica and whatnot. And you come over here and you sitting up here talking about you had to give us culture and you had to give us this and you had to give us that. There are literally no equivalents in your country to somebody of a Michael Jackson or a Prince or any of these people or these type of high up people high up. So how are you going to sit here and talk about somebody who basically sets the culture for music worldwide, that you had to give them something or you're equal to them? And all this stuff that Fat Joe talking about, his people was doing the salsa and the merengue and all this other stuff. So you sitting up there talking about y'all are equals and this and that is just pure nonsense. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to everyone in the room. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. A little connection issue. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. I mean, I want y'all to really think about this. And someone posted and it makes sense. So you're telling me if Latin people created hip hop, then why are they so terrible at it right now? If they've had 50 years to perfect it. I mean, that's just an honest question. Let's really think about that. That makes no sense. And if anyone notices, if you go to Fat Joe's page and you even try to challenge him, like, no, you're full of shit. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. This dude is going on a block party. That's really what's been going. He's blocking everybody because he knows he's full of shit. But I guess it's easier to just block people, and then you don't have to, you don't have to really deal with it anymore. And it's something that Tyler said earlier before he clicked over. Well, not clicked over. I guess he walked away from the mic. I wanted to touch him, but I can't exactly remember what he said. I'll land my plane right there. Let's see if I can remember it.
Yeah, I heard that anybody that's disagreeing with his opinion and whatnot, he just going ahead blocking. He ain't even trying to have any kind of dialogue or what. First off, man, when you gonna come with something like that, since you up in New York, you in the Mecca, you from the Bronx and this and that, you should already have the receipts already lined up for everybody, already printed up, ready to go ahead and share. He doesn't have the receipts. And somebody made an interesting point that even Kool Herc isn't coming out saying he hasn't co-signed any of this stuff. Kool Herc hadn't come out and say, you know what? Yeah, we were the ones that actually came up with this. We were the ones who actually invented this. We were the ones that actually taught y'all and shared them, or we're equal partners in this right here. Kool Herc sitting back, chilling. He like, hey, my name Bennett and I ain't in it. He ain't even trying to get up in this discussion right now. So I know a lot of people say, well, out of all the things that y'all can talk about, why are y'all so focused on hip hop? Why are you so focused on rap? Why are you so focused on a musical genre? Why are you so focused on entertainment? And the simple fact is this right here, that everything that we have created in this country, somebody comes along and they claim, they steal it, they go ahead, they end up reshaping it how they want to, they end up erasing us out of the actual history books. Next thing you know, it's like I say with jazz, you got white folks up here talking about they created jazz, they created blues, they created gospel, they created this, they created that. We are totally excluded out the record books with everything, every creation we have. So even when you look at all the patents and all the inventions and stuff, 50-some thousand that Black Americans have created, most of the thing you ask the average white person in this country, what have Black people contributed in terms of invention? They'll sit up there and tell you George Washington cover. Only thing y'all made was some peanut butter. Y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all ain't make anything. You people aren't inventors or creators. We're the ones that taught you and this and that. Even it goes back, like you say, to Africa. Everything we have to give credit to Africa. No disrespect to Africa, but everything that we come with musically, there's always some connection to Africa. Like these people, you got Black people that our roots haven't been back to Africa for 300-400 years and stuff. And you sitting up here saying that we should give all the credit to Africa or the Caribbean or Latin America or Europeans. So it's like we can't create anything on our own. Like we had to be taught how to chew and swallow food by everybody in the world. Go ahead, Ray.
Nah, I remember what it was. You said that Fat Joe said everyone was picking on him. See, he's doing that all because everyone started to call him out on his bullshit. But that's what it is. Ain't nobody picking on you, brother. Like you said, if you say something, you gonna have to bring receipts. You gonna have to stand on what the fuck you say. And he's not able to do it. That's why he's just going on this block party. And yeah, I want to touch on that too. We created so much stuff. I mean, things that we people use every day, like traffic lights, X-ray machines. I didn't know it was a black woman that created the GPS that we use. It was three black women that was in that Hidden Figures movie, air conditioners, the soles on your shoes, the gear shift in your car. I mean, it's so much that we just don't get credit for, and that's why it's not too late, but we have to start gatekeeping our culture a lot better because we don't. Like you said, everybody's gonna claim they invented everything, or they're just gonna start remixing the history books.
Hey, the washing machine, the clothesline, the railroad tie tracks, all that, Ray. We did it all, man. So this is why I'm tired of we complaining about it because these jokers saying they are the ones that did. Hold up a minute. Where your receipts at, man?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I noticed a lot more. I mean, I could go doorknobs, egg beaters, escape ladders, folding beds, pens, gas masks, stamps, hairbrush. I can keep going, but I think y'all got the picture. We created so much stuff. The mailbox, mouse, peanut butter, pencil sharpeners, rolling pins. We can keep going. Like we've done so much shit. And to be honest, if I don't educate myself, I would never know this because they don't teach this in school.
Yeah, and they not gonna teach it because they don't want to. They want to talk about it or whatever. I mean, even some of these instruments that these white folks get credit for and stuff like that. And they want to talk about all the class. But listen, let me tell you something. Black Americans are amongst the most intelligent people who ever lived. You got black people that were slaves that was illiterate could sit up there and play classical instruments and music and stuff like that, and couldn't even read or write. You got black people that could sit up there and look at blueprints that was illiterate and go up there and build stuff. So spare us on all this stuff talking about that you don't do this and you don't do that. You cannot. I tell you what. We can go ahead and we can go ahead and form a. We can take the entire diaspora and we can put Latin America as well. We can include all of them and put all of their so-called greatest entertainers. You can go with your top 10, your top 15. Hell, you go with your top 100, and you go ahead and you put them against ours and see if it ain't a complete whitewash here. I mean, sitting up here and having the nerve after you done made millions of dollars and sitting up here talking about that somebody doesn't have culture and they don't have this and they don't have that, and every slang that you speaking that you using to generate money and income and generational wealth for your family, you got from Black Americans. And instead of saying, well, hey, we came in here and we contributed, you know what I'm saying? And even though we didn't invent this and we're not the inventors, we played a pivotal part in the development of rap, something like that. Nobody would have a problem with that. When you start sitting up there, you're going to sit up there and take credit, and you're going to take all of the accolades that come with starting something and building something. There's an issue right there, my friend. There's a problem. There's a straightening that needs to be done right here. And right now, Fat Joe is getting straightened, and he wants to play the race game. He wants to, like they say, they want to play reverse racism. He wants to go ahead and he wants to get Latins up here upset and whatnot. You see how they doing me? You seeing how they doing me and this and that? Nah, bro, you doing yourself like that. Okay? You could have went ahead and set back. You sitting up here, you trying to say that, and same way he's always trying to. I mean, no disrespect. Big Pun was one of the best rappers I heard. Big Pun was a great rapper and stuff like that. But Big Pun wasn't the greatest rapper of all time. Not in my opinion. He was good. He could spit. I give him that. He was much better than Fat Joe.
But don't come up here. I was definitely about to say that.
Yeah, no doubt. He was better than Fat Joe. Like I said, Big Pun was good. I'm not gonna take anything away from him. But is Big Pun the best to ever come out of New York? Even I mean, I don't think so. Go ahead, Ray.
I was just gonna say, like you said, that they want to compare lists of the top black stars versus the top Latino stars. Where's their version of a Michael Jackson? Where's their version of a Notorious B.I.G.? He wasn't American or Black American per se. I think he was Jamaican. But where's their version of a Tupac Shakur? Those two alone, record-wise, would just slaughter them. And like I said, we created so much stuff. Like, look, like I said this in your stage the other day, black people got bored, and we created we created what's the thing called verses. We created verses just bored because we had nothing to do with COVID, and now they took that and gentrified that. Now they got new, Green Day or New Day or whatever the crap their name is, doing hosting verses and stuff. just like that, we just give away so much stuff because as black people, we just been so creative that we just go and do something else that's fine, and then try to copy that.
If I'm not mistaken, I know Biggie Mama was Jamaican, but was his daddy a Black American? I'm not sure entirely, but I know his mom was Jamaican, but I'm not sure about his dad or whatever. But Biggie, if he was alive, he first will tell you that he was influenced by Black Americans. So the simple fact that you sitting up here, man, like it's like some kind of like you have some deep hatred or something here, man. Like I say, respect to be given. We give respect to all of the Caribbean rappers. We give respect to the few Hispanic rappers that that was really good and whatnot. But then there's contributions been made by Caribbean rappers. We wouldn't take that away from them, and they played a good part in the development of the rap genre and whatnot, the hip hop genre. But you can't sit up here and say that you was the creator and that you did this and you did that when you didn't, man. With the initial steps that you weren't even doing that. And I'm down here in the South, you know what I'm saying, in Florida, where we got a heavy Caribbean population, where we got a heavy Latin population. And I can tell you back in the day, like, they weren't jamming the hip hop like that, man. Neither one of them. They weren't jamming the hip hop like that. Later on, as it started gripping the nation and whatnot, yeah, they started going out buying more CDs than us and whatnot. They started knowing more verses than us. And after a while, just like anybody else that comes into something, they gonna tell you who's good and who's not good. Oh, he suck. Oh, he ain't bought nothing or this and that. So after a while, the Hispanics and everybody else started taking the lingo of black people. They started wearing the clothes like black people, the hip hop clothes, the baggy jeans and the Tim boots and all the other stuff that come on that we know, man, that's not part of your culture. If anybody in here can remember actually on Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee, one of I think his second, third movie, one of his top early movies. You got the part where you got Radio Raheem coming through, the black dude with the boom box, and he beating Public Enemy, fight the power. With Radio Raheem, he walking through a group with a bunch of you got a bunch of Hispanics and whatnot. And they playing their little merengue music. They playing their little merengue music. Radio Raheem, he come up there, he crank that thing up louder. Hispanics look at him like, okay. They crank it up louder. Oh, you think you got it like that? El Chocolate. The boy went ahead and cranked that thing up to the point. The Hispanics do. They couldn't crank it up no more. They're like, oh, you got it. So don't sit here. And that movie came out in like 89, man. Don't sit here and talk about y'all was all ingrained into it. Yeah, y'all came in the late 70s and stuff like that. Y'all participated in the early 80s and all the other stuff. But don't sit here and say that y'all were the ones that created it. You did not create anything. You are a participant. You are invited to the party. You didn't host the party. You invited. And just be happy that you had that invitation and that you was able to take that invitation and make millions of dollars from it. This is how, like, you never catch a black person going to somebody else's culture, try to take it over, and then sit up here and tell this other person they should be grateful that they came. Just ridiculous. Tyrone, I know you got your hand up. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up reggaeton. If they help create hip hop, right, and that hip hop goes way back to the 70s, how come reggaeton didn't even come out to the 2000s? And that's something that you can say that they had a heavy influence on, but it didn't even last long. And why is it took Big Pun in the late 90s or whatever to be the first Latin rapper to come to go platinum, but they helped created something? Like, the numbers don't even add up. And it just doesn't really make sense. And I wanted to talk about Grandmaster Cass, because he recanted a statement as if somebody applied some pressure to him. And I was just like wondering what that was about. And to your credit about Radio Raheem blasting the Public Enemy song and kind of getting some pushback from the Latin brothers in the music, in the movie, Cass was speaking on one of his Puerto Rican partners having issues at the time by embracing hip hop by his own people. So it ain't like being all peaches and cream with them. Like, it's not like we was all good and they helped create it and everything was smooth. Like, the whole thing don't even make sense when you really look at it. And I just wanted to bring up reggaeton because the brother had mentioned earlier about Puerto Ricans' influence on the culture, and that made me think about reggaeton. I'm like, damn, that shit kind of came and went, and it came way late in the game. If they was creators, co-creators, as Fat Joe would make it seemed like that would have came out alongside with it or whatever, or at least been more influential in the culture They came late and they came and went fast. But yeah, I'm gonna land with that.
No doubt. And if y'all looking at Jumbotron, on the far right hand side is the actual article we curated off the Newstoter platform. And it's talking about Fat Joe, how he got dragged on Twitter for saying both Latinos and blacks created hip hop. You can click that and you can read that entire article. And like I say, Fat Joe's trying to make himself like he's the one being bullied and picked on, that he has just as much right. And that's a thing, too. That's also a thing that we're not mentioning. You go ahead, these same people that come into it, and I'm not even talking about the Caribbean black people, I'm talking about the Latinos on this one. You allow these people into the house, you allow them to eat the meal and whatnot, and the next thing they calling you nigga this, nigga that, and they feel like, hey, they get an attitude. Well, why can't I call you a nigga? I live next to you in the projects and the slums and this and that, and we allowed this to go on. So because we allowed this to go on, these people believe that they should be able to take credit for the actual genre of music that you created, and they should be also able to call you all kind of names. And you should sit there and be acceptance of it. Because, hey, after all, we almost like brothers. You know, we experience racism just like, and discrimination just like you. So I should be allowed to call you a nigga, and I should be allowed to say that this music is really our music. In fact, it was one of the main ones, and you hear them, they talk about that, the culture, like the hip hop, it ain't, and we start hearing black people sounding so retarded saying this about this is it's the culture, it's everybody's culture. We done told you about that. This is everybody culture stuff. You better go ahead and start checking folks while you can still check them. Ray, go ahead, unmute your mic.
No, that's you bring up a very interesting point because I've noticed. Have anyone else ever noticed this? Like with other cultures, they don't call themselves, wetback or whatever they are. They use our derogatory slang, at each other. Like that's kind of interesting. And I wanted to bring up two other things. The first one is we shouldn't be surprised that they're trying to steal our culture because if you really pay attention, Jamaicans got their culture stolen not too long ago. It was that white group, and I think the name was Sojo. They actually won Best Hip Hop Crew, and that's like a whole bunch of cool white boys. And that, the last award show from Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, they swept the whole R&B category. And the last thing, that was the first thing. The second thing is the thing that they're trying to pull. They're not really, I don't think, gonna be really pull it off because there's enough of us that really know what the hell is really going on to not accept that lie. But the children, like I got a daughter, she's 7 years old. She doesn't know like the origin of hip hop and all this stuff. So I feel like they're trying to put this out there to kind of brainwash them to a certain extent and have them thinking that someone else other than us crazy. Because us people that's 30 and over, we know better, so they ain't gonna be able to pull that crap on us.
See, when you have a long history of stealing music, and they see that everybody is like, well, you know what? Black people don't really fight for what's theirs. They're so welcoming. They're so they'll so inclusive. They'll go ahead and they'll invite anybody in there. They all you gotta do is just get your foot in the door, and they'll sit up here and they'll pretty much bring you in, and they'll make you the equal and the partner and this and that. So with black people, all you gotta do is get your foot in the door, and you can end up taking something over because they've seen it with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 genres, all of the music genres in this country. They've seen that you can just get your foot in the door, take it over, and black people ain't gonna put up no kind of resistance. They're gonna sit up there, and the first thing out their mouth, they're gonna say, well, how can you stop somebody from listening to the music? Like, well, it's a compliment if somebody wants to come in here and do this and do that. So they already see the blueprint that's been laid out for over 100 years in terms of weaseling your way into something, being able to go ahead and get what you want to get out of this actual occupation, and knowing that black people aren't going to put up any resistance. In fact, they'll sit up, and this is about the most resistance. This resistance, the thing that we hear on Twitter now, that people pushing back on Fat Joe, and they need to push back on Busta Rhymes as much too. And you got Pete Rock sitting up here saying crazy stuff and whatnot. Until black people start pushing back to this point, you're going to constantly see. And next thing you know, in 50 years, you're going to have the Asians over there with their K-pop and stuff talking about that they invented this and they invented that. So worldwide, you got all of these different forms of hip-hop and stuff like that. And all these people are going to sit up here and take it. You got dude over there in Africa talking about he was the first one to start doing rap and hip-hop and this and that. And he was doing it back in the 1970s before this person and that person. We just sitting up here and we just taking this stuff like we can't defend ourselves. So until you start fighting back, expect to get whooped on. Not lie. Go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on?
Nothing. I got in. I was like, this is one of my passions. I'm a hip hopist, I guess. The issue that I have with it is that not necessarily. I don't have an issue with the fact they're trying to steal it. I do like the pushback that they're getting, but I want a lot of people to understand that in the Black American culture, and I keep saying this, I'm going to keep my face, keep saying it. Hip hop was named on August 11, 1973. It was always elements in the Black American culture, breakdancing, the rapping. It was always in our culture, those things. It's just that in 1973, we got a name to it. And we have to start saying that and start reiterating that and start letting it be known because they're actually thinking that they have some validity. And because they have a platform and they have a voice, even though it's ass backwards voice, because they don't know. They keep saying the 70s and 80s is not where it all came from. People were breakdancing and doing things in the 30s. And we see that it just over time again expanded, and a name was finally put to it. So we have to just call a spade a spade. And when we say, like, we give credence to the fact that when we say it started in 1973, that's not where it started because we know the origin is back in the day because the elements were there. It was just named. It was just given a proper name because it was always part of our culture. So I did want to say that. I like the pushback. I like the fact that everybody's holding other people accountable for their BS. And this is another reason why we cannot we can't even say that we have guests anymore. You're no longer a guest in our culture. We have to start calling enemies the enemies. Stop having a guest. And we have to look at people who do business with people who are an enemy of the people as enemies. Because, or Vlad TV now, I hate this dude with a passion and I really hope he disappears. But anybody who go on his show, knowing how he sees black people, you have to look at that person as an enemy. Because once somebody show you who they are, we have to believe them. And he already stated, and he already shown that he's against black culture and black people. And he's only in the culture for the profit of it and to the detriment of our people. So we have to look at people who collaborate and who do things with certain people. We start having to look at those people as a side eye because we know they're not for us. And if you're not for us, you're against us. And stop like these award shows. Stop paying attention. Stop giving them viewership because again, we are the culture. But when we give certain people who are guests permission, they think that they can even speak on. I forgot who name was, but he even thought that he could give his opinion about. Like, you don't even have an opinion about what you think hip hop. Like, dude, who are you? For you to sit here and say what you think hip hop is when you're a guest here, you're no longer a guest. You're no longer welcome, and we really got to start shutting shit down. That's the only way we're gonna get it back. Stop, really start shutting shit down. I'll end my fight.
You made a great point that these people are no longer guests. These people really what they are colonizers. They have colonizer blood in them, and they believe that any and everything that belongs to black people actually should belong to them as well. So all you're hearing is just the colonizer and them coming out, trying to go ahead and steal and take something, and same way that they did with any and everything in this world. Well, why is that your land? Where's your deed to it? As if you had a deed, they still would take the damn land. So it's just a lack of respect. Like I say, they've seen it for so many years, and before you know it, 20 years from now, they'll be talking about they already done added it was Caribbeans that helped create rap music. It was Hispanics or Latins that helped create rap music. The next thing is going to be it was poor white people that got with other black people in those areas and they helped create rap music. So next I expect poor white people to also get thrown into the equation too because they always like to group poor. When they talk about black people, and they always got to put in poor white people as well too. So that'll be the next little hustle to add into the actual talking point as well. Right, go ahead and unmute your mic. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not. Go ahead.
No, just really, really quick. And you can see, even after slavery days, when you look at the timeline of everything happening, like when the 30s with the dancing and the rapping starting, literally, it with the beating of the drum to signal like the escapes of the Underground Railroad, hip hop has always been our culture. It's always been Black American culture. For anybody to say it's been anything else, Caribbeans wasn't even here. It's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And they're really going to get to the point where they're going to be starting to create everything, and we really just have to gatekeep. And I'm so glad that I see Black Americans really standing up and not taking it no more. Remember, this is the last thing we have. We don't have any TV. We don't have any radio. We don't have any other platform where we can speak. So the fact that it's trending on Twitter and we are speaking out for it is a good thing. And they need to be scared. They need to feel ashamed. Because it's even emboldened them even more because like Fat Joe saying the N-word, like he's real loose with it. He literally said, he pulled one of the Joe Biden lines. I'm more blacker than a black person because I'm an N-word and you hard. Like the disrespect, like because a black person went to Harvard or a black person is highly educated, he is more black than them. Like black people culture is synonymous with the ghetto. Like this he was out of line. So like, it's just getting ridiculous.
Another valid point you made, that sis. I'm gonna kick it to Ray and Tyrone. Another valid point you make. As pissed off as we are about this dude talking about, and like I said earlier in the conversations, pissed off as we are about this dude claiming that it's half and half. You know, right now it's half and half. Next thing you know, they'll be the ones they were the true inspiration that gave it to us. So that's coming as well to that hustle too. But as mad as we are about them actually proclaiming this, you don't hear any rappers in New York sitting up here, and you have never heard them sit up here and say, hey, don't call us a nigga, okay? Don't call us a nigga. When we look at you, buddy, you can pass for white. Now, you can sit up here and talk about that your great-great-grandma has black blood in her, but we seen them pictures of you with your little mushroom haircut and whatnot. Stop it, bro, with your rosy red cheeks. Stop knocking us. Stop trying us with this nonsense you talking about, dude. You sit up here, and whenever you fill out a job application, I guarantee your birth certificate says white Hispanic. So knock it off. You're not the same as us. You come from a country that was a slave state, that had slaves there. Y'all had a caste system just like we had here in America. And in that caste system, you were on top and we were on the bottom. So why don't y'all say something about it? But you don't have the New York rappers. They sit right up here, do a song with the dude go back and forth, nigga this, nigga this, nigga this, nigga, 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 nigga. Now, if they were to call him a spick or something, then all hell, it'll be World War III. Oh, what's up with that, son? What's up with that beat? Oh, you tripping, son? Oh, you calling me all of this, son? Oh, I thought we was the same beat. Oh, you calling me a spick, son? You're right. He started calling him a spick and a wetback and all this other stuff. World War III about to pop off. But we can be your nigga and we can be all this and that. I mean, nah, please, black people need to tighten up. For all these ones, you got these one day that and these songs you got Italians up here calling you nigga this, nigga that. Now if you should call them a guinea or a dago or something like that, people will be all upset. Man, come on, we got to tighten up as a group of people, man. We're gonna get to you, Ray, and then we're gonna get to you, Tyrone. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm gonna be real quick. Lice said something about DJ Vlad. I just want to point out we don't have to support DJ Vlad. There's another brother, and I mentioned it to you guys in the other space. He goes by the Art of Dialogue. He's doing some really great, interviews. He's done like Gene Deal, Napoleon. I can't even think of more people. Danny Boy. Just some other, people that's very, very, influential. Spice One, Shay. So if y'all could please subscribe to DJ Vlad, go support that brother. Because I think he just did one with Gene Deal, Desiree Smith, who used to be Tupac's ex-girlfriend, way back in the day, and some other people. So definitely want to throw that in for that brother. He's doing some real good work.
Yeah, when you told us that the football space. Yeah, when you told us that.
What did you say, DJ?
No, I'm saying them Danny Boy interviews is crazy.
Yeah, Ray, you're right. The Art of Dialogue, for anybody with a YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the Art of Dialogue. You told us that in the football space we had Saturday, y'all. We had a great football space, not to get off topic, on Saturday. So we're going to be doing the college football and probably NFL space on Saturday. So y'all, for everybody that's an avid football fan, y'all make sure y'all check that out. But yeah, subscribe to the Art of Dialogue. Vlad, I don't know why you can't keep these black people off of Vlad though. They gonna go on there like they act like Vlad is the only show on TV on YouTube. They know that Vlad, every time people go on there, they begin pinched that this dude is trying to find information out. Yeah, you cannot keep these Negroes off of Vlad, bro.
I was just about to say that he always asks questions, getting people hemmed up. I'm sorry, brother Tyrone, I'm gonna let you go. I just want to definitely add that because this dude is hurting our own people, and we go, knocking ourselves down to go support him.
Absolutely. Tyrone, you got it, bro. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Nah, facts. Him and Adam 22. Adam 22 is good for keeping beef between our people going. Because he'll interview both sides and ask them questions about the other interviewer trying to spark up beef. He's responsible for a lot of ongoing beef in LA right now. But I wanted to talk about, man, the sister says some stuff that I want to put emphasis on. Hip hop didn't start in '73. It got its name in '73. And that is powerful. I just now thought about it like that when she said it. And it can easily be proven. And I think that once we start really looking at it like that, we can easily X out the conversation about anybody else being co-creators. Because I think that's the only way they can do it is if we look at it as having its inception in '73 versus it's getting its name in '73. That's some powerful shit. I wish we could have dropped the bomb when she said that. Because that shit is powerful. And all the calls of action that she spoke on about just not supporting the motherfuckers. I recently put in the group Newstoter, you got like a group or whatever. I'll be up in there looking at all the stuff or whatever. And I'm like, we don't boycott no more. And I think that, in 2022, there's new ways to boycott. And I think we do need to boycott the Black TV, the Adam 22s, all these other outside people who are guests. Like, we were good at, coming up with that concept of guests being in the culture. Well, if we can have guests, like the sister said, we can kick the motherfuckers out. And so, by not supporting them can be the way to, you know what I mean? Like boycott in 2022. And I really just wanted to put emphasis and bring that concept of hip hop getting its name in 1973 and not actually starting in 1973. I think that was a very powerful statement. And I really just wanted to put emphasis on that. So throughout this conversation, we don't lose sight of that because I've not heard many people bring that up. I've been seeing on Twitter people showing the different aspects of hip hop being, way back in the early 1900s, like the sister brought up, but just that whole concept of like, well, hold on, man, hip hop didn't start in '73. It got its name in '73. That short and simple little statement right there can kill a whole lot of arguments. And, I'm going to land with that. But powerful, man. I appreciate the sister so much for that.
Oh yeah, she definitely, Aunt La definitely made a valid point there. And I'm gonna kick it to you, Aunt La. Here's the thing though, when you have your own stars and stuff sitting up here and they co-signing this stuff, when they co-signing when somebody say that hip hop is everybody's culture, it's not black culture, it's everybody's culture. Because one time I believe I was looking at a YouTube, it was Fat Joe, maybe a year or so ago, and you had Tretch on there. And and Fat Joe said it to Tresh. He was like, yeah, it's everybody's culture and this and that. And Tresh would be like, he could have stopped him right there. He like, everybody's welcome to come into it, but it's really our culture. Because I guarantee you, the salsa music and everything else ain't everybody's culture. And like I said this before, country music ain't looked at as everybody's culture. Heavy metal ain't looked at as everybody's culture. That opera music they sang over there in Rome and all the other things ain't looked at as everybody's culture. Now you're entitled to go in there and sing and some of these things and make money to a certain degree, but it's not everybody's culture. It's their culture. I guarantee you, if you go to Jamaica, reggae ain't everybody's culture. Reggae is considered Jamaican culture. Okay, if a black American comes in there and say, well, a dance hall and reggae, this is black Americans' culture just as much, and they would beat the living dog at you if you said something like that. I promise you. But we're the only people that can sit up here and say some ignorant stuff like that and say it with a straight look on our face. I mean, good Lord, how long do we want to be patted on the head like we just a puppy or something? Go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
You are absolutely 100% correct. I'm trying not to laugh over here. Oh, thank you so much, Tyrone. I appreciate it. I be trying to be philosophizing my blackness because I'm going through it, and I process a lot. So I'm just trying to process. And again, words are important. How we name things are important. And a lot of times, the enemy, we know what the enemy is there to do. He's there to kill, steal, and destroy. So they constantly are working at it. And sometimes we have to realize that some of these things are agents of confusion and agents of disruption. So we just have to remove ourselves from the situation. And it's easy to do. Like I've never seen an episode of Vlad. I just saw his episode on the Breakfast Club. I didn't know who he was. I see a lot of little clips of videos of him, and I just don't like him. So it's easy for me to like boycott him, but we need to start boycotting actively. Like, I believe that that's really like the only power we have. Like for Christmas or Black Fridays, I haven't celebrated. I mean, my son is 13. I don't celebrate those holidays. I actively boycott everything. I'm a Black business owner. When I do my comedy shows, I hire Black comedians. Everybody in my business is Black. And if I've been schooled in the business situation or not, I'm still going to go with a Black person. Just published the book. The publisher is Black. So I just make sure I'm actively participating in the advancement of my people. I'm not just talking about it, I'm being about it. It is possible, but we have to start, especially we're going to start like trying to change the act. But a lot of times on here, I notice a lot of things are done to get us riled up. A lot of things are done because Black people are emotional people. And it's a good thing, and it's also a detriment, because with that comes high blood pressure, and other things. And a lot of times people know how to pull our triggers. And we have to be more, again, like I say, the people with the Underground Railroad, our people are very, very powerful. They're very, very smart. The Underground Railroad was done in their face, and they couldn't figure it out. Like, they sitting here walking around like Boo Boo the Fool, and all this was going on. And, Harriet Tubman got over 300 people free, and they couldn't even find her. And she a Black slave. And when they was talking about the tricks that she would do in front of them to get them off focus, and this lady was wise beyond her years. So we just have to start doing those things on purpose. Even on this app, it was this one guy, I can't even know his name, but he's an agent of confusion. He literally had a space on how can we tell the Black people in the Black culture to stop being like the Black extremists. Like, how can we control the Black? And I cussed his ass out because he doesn't even have the authority to have a conversation to tell anybody Black anything. The only thing he can do is tell his ancestors to leave us the hell alone. Because if you was to look at our life as Black people, and Black don't crack, and how even after everything we've been through, again, pressure makes diamonds. We are so great. It's mind-boggling. But imagine if we didn't have them trying to actively destroy us all the time with everything. And the fact that they're not getting away with it now, and the fight is, I'm going to say, global. It's Black Americans are actually, we're delineating, we're standing up for ourselves, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly, because we have to start, again, I think Denzel Washington said it. If the lion and the sheep, if the lion tells the story, he's always going to be the king. Like, we have to start telling our own story. And I know I probably tore that up and messed that quote all the way up. Forgive me for that. But we have to start telling our story, and I appreciate it. And it's the fact that stuff was already here. And it was named. That's a fact, even though, I'm the one who said it. But it's a fact that other people are not realizing that. So I'm like waving a flag to them, like, no, listen to me. It was already here. We just didn't name it. We already had it in the 30s, in the 20s. We had it. You look at the dancing that they was doing, and they was throwing people and doing all that stuff. That was before, you know what I mean? My great grandmother was born in 1922. So, I mean, I appreciate it, and we just have to actively work at, togetherness and isolation. It's called self-isolation. We have to work at self-isolation and be active in doing it. I'll let my phone.
Thank you. And for those that don't know, like Aunt La said, she has a book that's out. Aunt La, is it still on the pre-sale thing, or what's going on with it?
My publisher just sent it to the publishing company. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I'm gonna send your book as soon as it get here. She said I should have it on the 11th and the 13th of September. And I'm gonna be in Atlanta at the Tesla Figaro that thing on the 10th. So literally, hopefully it comes earlier than that. But as soon as I come back, I'm trying to see if I can overnight express them to get everybody their book, because some people bought them. So the books are actually no longer on pre-sale; it's on sale. I'm excited, and again, I have a fight. I don't know if you guys know about my fight, but I filed a lawsuit against the New Jersey Judiciary in federal court. I couldn't get an attorney to take my case because they were scared, so I filed it with no attorney. And I have a federal lawsuit and a state lawsuit against them. And that's what I say. I'm actively fighting them. So with me fighting them and literally having to go through everything I'm going through, I'm just processing everything that not necessarily what was done to me, in addition to what was done to me, just my culture and my people in general. So, you know, it's a fight, but my book is my take on the criminal justice system. Because as a probation officer, and I'm gonna be really, really quick. I'm at 2 minutes. When they tell you that if you want to change the system, become a lawyer, doctor, a lawyer, a judge, a police officer, but what they don't tell you is that once you're black and you're in law enforcement, your job is to support white supremacy. So I give my scientific take on the criminal justice system and the fact that that's bullcrap. They don't want you to change the system from within. They don't need you to change the system. If they wanted to stop incarcerating innocent people, they could do that without your ass. They don't need me. That was just some bullshit they fed my little black ass, excuse my French, in North New Jersey in the hood, as a black girl, having a dream, stay out of trouble, don't have kids out of wedlock, and don't do drugs, don't drink, and then you can have an American dream. And then I did everything I was supposed to do, and I got the job, but I was still a black woman. So it didn't care about this education I had or anything else. And that's, the book is based on my fight and my scientific review of the criminal justice system. So
Definitely. And it's in the Jumbotron. It's on the far left-hand side. So you guys make sure you check that out. Click it. Go ahead and definitely buy Aunt Li's book. Help support the sister. Help support this black woman and her pursuit of justice. So definitely go ahead and support that sister. Also, if you can, support Newstoter on Cash App. $ Cash App. Oh, man, why do I keep saying that? $ Newstoter. $ News. So you can tell them, like, I thought by now I would have this down pat. $ Newstoter. Good Lord. AD, go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Hey, I don't know if y'all mentioned this earlier. This is going back to the hip hop thing. When I was stationed in Korea, I think a lot of the problem I saw when it came to this topic was that you had a lot of immigrants, particularly from the Caribbean, different parts of Africa. And when I was stationed in Korea, out there, like the club scene and the rap scene, the music scene, it's heavy Black American hip hop and rap and all that kind of stuff. And what they do is when they go out there, of course the Korean people, they don't see the difference between like a Black American and let's say an African. So you will have Africans and Caribbeans going out there and cosplaying Black American hip hop and all that kind of stuff. But what they do is, I've seen firsthand, is that they allow other groups of people, right? Not even just other Asians. It will be other Hispanics, there are other people from India, Pakistan, coming out here, and they encourage them to emulate our culture, right? They'll encourage them to, go out here and do rap, say the N-word, and do all this other kind of crazy stuff. And then it's already like they already come to America, or some of them do come over here, and they repeat what those other immigrants out there tell them what to do. And you have an entire music scene, rap scene out in these other countries that have these token Black people that enable them to be able to do this kind of stuff. So that's the point I see. I know I lived in LA, and I'm already used to seeing Hispanic people saying N-word and all that other kind of stuff. But it was really interesting seeing how even 12 hours away on a plane flight, that these people are still doing the same thing. Because it wasn't just Asians, it was Hispanics, whites, other Blacks, doing other kind of crazy stuff. That's just what I'd say.
Oh, no doubt. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming in and chiming into the conversation tonight. Most appreciated. And thank you, Aunt La, for your contribution on Cash App as well, the Newstoter. Ray, or Greg Rock, you just got into the spot. I know you don't have your hand up. Is there anything you'd like to say? If not, you just put your hand up. If you don't have anything, we come back to you later on.
Yeah. Thanks for peace and love to the fam. Yeah, first of all, I just signed in, so I'm just looking at the title of the room. But people need to really remember Busta Rhymes came in leaders of the new school. So he wasn't even around. I tweeted this a couple of times. If he was born in the 70s, he was in diapers. So he shouldn't even be speaking on it. And I thought I was speaking on it because I thought I was a part of that younger crowd of that first generation, maybe the beginning of the second generation. Because now that they taking stuff back to 71 and 73, 7, 8 years old, so I wasn't aware on the streets. But I do know when I was aware, 75 and above, Up to Rappers Alike came out with no type of Caribbean or Jamaican, nothing in hip hop. We wasn't listening to it. There wasn't no accents in it. And if somebody was from the islands, they didn't say it. And that leads me to this question. If they are, some people are standing on that Kool Herc started a part of hip hop. Did we influence him, or did he influence us? Or vice versa? Did he influence us?
We influenced him, bro, so we're going to get that in the bud because Kool Herc came to America.
Right.
What they call the system, they're talking about those big sound systems that you see down there in Jamaica that Jamaicans are using, but the phonographers have been here in America, bro. You know what I'm saying? The Japanese might have perfected it, aka the Technic 1200. You know what I'm saying? But it was an American invention still, just as well as all American music, just Black American music. But go ahead, Reg.
That's right. Most definitely, we had systems. I ain't even discussing about those systems. He can't say he brought systems over here, brought speaking.
Well, the one thing that they are trying to say is that Kool Herc was the first to use a dual 2 turntable setup. So you got radio DJs that had 2 turntable setups in real radio stations in the 50s and the 40s, black and white pictures. So how was Jamaica still the first? See what I'm saying? And then if we just talking a basic 2 turntable system, well, the mixer didn't come out until about late 60s, early 70s. You know what I mean? As far as the mixer that has a crossfader tree, meaning you can crossfade from one record to another, aka a mix. You know what I'm saying? So that was invented by a white dude. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say that y'all was the first to get or the first to have 2 turntables and you was cutting and scratching on records when Jokers was doing that well before you. So the whole argument is now they trying to discredit Disco King Mario, if you know who that is. See what I'm saying? He was the original promoter that brought the pistol to the park, Black American man, and was doing real hip hop stuff like feeding the community, going to the schools trying to help the kids with their reading and stuff like that. Somebody got into a beef, he'd be the mediator of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the origins of hip hop, but there wasn't no islanders around here then like that. And like you said, if they was, or Caribbean or some type of Hispanic Latino, they didn't say shit. And yeah, for the record, there were some Puerto Rican, not whole Latino, not no whole cultural group. It was 1 or 2 couple people that were pioneer DJs and maybe some producers in hip hop that are Puerto Rican descent. But that's it. We ain't talking Mexican, or Salvadorian, Venezuelan, Guatemala. Nah, that wasn't it. You know?
Yeah, most of yeah. I don't even think the systems is even a discussion about, because there was systems out here. You know what, Jamaica had better systems than in the U.S. So, but if they come into like some of the old guys, Charlie Rock, and saying the distinctive difference with Kool Herc, and again, like I want somebody to say for sure, was anybody playing breaks before Kool Herc? Because since they're going back to 71, 72, 73,
yeah.
78.
Yes, bro. The answer is yes. Look up the black space. The whole what we call breaking, that was just a person that had a record player and some turntable, and it was just constantly playing James Brown records over and over. But they was playing a specific part of a James Brown where he said, soul power, power to the people, power to the people. So the Black Space Gang up in the Bronx, they would just loop that one part, and they would repeat Spade power, and they would be doing like a breaking type dance. This is all facts, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that, but like I said, I can't get into arguments with people going back to 72, 73 because I was 7, 8 years old. But I do know after that, they didn't. If Caribbean had influence that early, they didn't stop and then bring it in later in the 80s to when they did start mixing it in at a little different flavor, which was cool. I ain't mad at that. That little different flavor added to it, helped it grow. That's cool, but it definitely wasn't the start of it. It definitely wasn't no invention of it. And That was probably after Rappers Delight, because I remember, I always traveled, so I was gone for the summer when Rappers Delight came out. I was down in South Jersey. I would come back 12, 13. Back then, you could put your kids on the train by themselves. They know what to do. So I get back, take Amtrak back to Penn Central. I land in Penn Central, and I hear this crew. Back then, there wasn't no records out. I remember just tapes with crews, different crews. So I'm like, yo, who's this crew? They got a clear tape, because most of the tapes was like, it might have just been a box sitting in the room somewhere recording this shit. So it was all staticky. Every now and then you heard the clear tape. So I'm like, who got this clear tape that sound real clear like that? The good times sound a little off. The tape was real clear. So then I get the subway back to Queens. I hear it again. I'm like, damn, who this crew all over the city? Then when I got to the block, told my friends, they said, yo, it's a record. I'm like, yo, they're making records now. Definitely wasn't no type of Jamaican or Caribbean nothing prior to that. And I do know we had kind of stopped break dances once the Puerto Ricans started doing it. Because I was doing that in junior high school, so we had kind of fell off and just stopped it when they took over. So yeah, they didn't start it. And not to say they wasn't a welcome addition to it, but they didn't start it, and they shouldn't be trying to take credit. And that's a unknown personal take of growing up in that hip hop era. Thanks for listening to me, fam.
Oh, no problem. And you're right. I mean, Black people never have stopped anybody from coming in and participating, and that's been the issue. Like, they've been too welcoming, and you see the things you get in the long run. So yeah, you never had an issue. Black people never said, well, nah, y'all can't come in, y'all not one of us. No, you got to go ahead and play that music that you came from. Never once did that. But you see the kind of respect that you get in return for opening the door for people and whatnot. So that's the issue right there. You open the door, you invite people in, you invite people into the family, you think they're family, and then these people go ahead and they stab you in the back. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just wanted to touch on something really quick that Aunt Lai said, and also you also said about these ages of chaos. Because not only are they really trying to steal our culture, they're trying to discredit some of our best and brightest leaders. Because for the people that follow me, you'll know that I believe it was yesterday or the day before, maybe someone actually made a post, or not a post, but a space saying how Malcolm X was bisexual. I was like, and of course, I go in there and I'm just like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Where y'all get this information from? And basically, it came from this LGBT scholar that did his research. I was like, oh, here we go. And then there's another person, I forget who they was. They had a space talking about how Black people need to start accepting transgenderism and all this other stuff. So it is these ages of chaos that are 100% the problem. And one last thing before I land my plane, I just want to make sure we pay respect to our ancestors, because today is the anniversary of Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. Today is also the day Emmett Till, was found lynched, and today was also the day that Chadwick Boseman passed. So I want to make sure I pay some respect to our ancestors.
Yeah, great comment, and definitely, respect to all of the people that you mentioned. Definitely, when you talk about MLK and his contributions and everything else, that goes without saying. So we definitely chat with Bozeman. We definitely, and Emmett Till, we see just trying to get justice for him, how hard that's been almost 60 some odd years after his death. So definitely respect to everybody that you mentioned, Ray. And that thing when they started talking about Malcolm X, I don't even try to hear it, because I heard them say that stuff before. If there was any real proof that about Malcolm X, they would have been put that out there. So that's just some crap that somebody's trying to, come up off of this man's name and whatnot and tarnish his image, like they pretty much try to do all Black people that had some notoriety and some reverence to the actual community. Go ahead, Ray.
Now, I was just going to say, because someone mentioned earlier, we as Black people, we are kind of, emotional people. And when you see something like that, it kind of triggers you a little bit, like, what the fuck? And like you said, if they had any evidence of this happened, they would have been put on blast. The FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, and all those other cats, they were trying to discredit Malcolm for centuries. Well, not centuries, for years. So if they had anything, they definitely would put it out. And then one last thing, and it's really sad that, on the anniversary of Emmett Till's death, the person that is responsible is still alive with an active search warrant, and our own damn police to walk around acting stupid like they don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's the American criminal system for you. So we definitely, it's not like our people didn't try to get them to go ahead and and bring this woman into justice. So we definitely give credit to the. You have plenty of activists out there trying to go ahead and get this woman arrested and get her charged and everything else. So it wasn't from a lack of effort on the part of a lot of grassroots activists out there trying to do something to actually go ahead and bring some justice about for the late Emmett Till. You got it again, Ray.
No, sorry. Here's one more last thing. I promise I'm gonna try my best to let it go. But I just can't help but point out the hypocrisy that they're telling us that just because she's in a hospice, that she's too old and feeble to sit her ass in jail when these souls are going after Bill Cosby and everybody else from decades ago. So no, we ain't trying to hear that. Let her take her ass in there and die in jail. She got off a lot better than Emmett did.
If they go after them Nazis and they don't care how old they are.
Exactly.
True.
Was he like 102 and they still gave him 5 years. At 100 years old, they said, nope, you was even around the area and we gonna give your ass some time. But when it comes to this woman, which I call her like the godmother of white privilege, when it comes to her, all of a sudden we don't know what to do. I mean, she kind of old. She's already in the hospital. I mean, it really, by the time I don't want to hear that. Lock her ass up. She has an active warrant. She's had an active warrant since 1955? And she's been sitting up in North Carolina and all these other places protected. Come on, man. We ain't trying to hear that shit.
Absolutely. We'll keep trying to keep the pressure on as we can, and we'll see what happens. You've been having people trying for years to go ahead and have justice actually really served, and so we'll just try to keep the pressure on as much as possible. DJ, I had a quick question to ask you, because I know you up north and whatnot, and you're not too far from New York or whatever, but in your opinion, how long has Busta Rhymes had this vitriol towards Black Americans? Because Busta always appeared, back in the day in the '90s and whatnot, to be cool and to be laid back. I see you got your hand up, Aunt La, so maybe you may know the answer. So one of you two go ahead and let me know, how long has it been since Busta? Because as he's got older, it's like he can't hide that contempt now for Black Americans.
I'm actually over here looking for a video about that I've been wanting to show y'all for a while, but I'm hoping they ain't scrubbing from the net. But I might have to come at y'all a later day on that. But go ahead online, I'm gonna say, hey man, that's what a bigot is. You know what I mean? You can hide being that just because we got the same color skin. See what I'm saying? But I yield.
I was gonna say the same. People pretend well, and you can already tell a lot of people are not. People pretend well, and they pretend because who they really are is gonna always come out. You're always gonna see the truth. But he's always been like that. It's just a facade, and he pretended well. There's a lot of other things that he's done. I believe he has some charges or something like that. So he's always been suspect. I do want to say, like, I was a fan of his, but as soon as you go against me or mine, I immediately disconnect. But it's a lot of people who are like that. It's just that people choose to ignore it. And even the fact that when these people are talking about the people, Jamaican, things like that, by the time hip hop was named, hip hop was already in Black culture for 4 decades. So the fact that they're really saying that in the 70s, when all of these things that in the 70s was finally named was there in the 20s and 30s. And I really want people to realize that. But Busta's been like, it's a lot of them like that. And you got to understand, New York is literally a melting pot. It's literally, they have the Caribbean Day Parade. They have, I think it's called the Jubilee. But they have a lot of Caribbean Day Parades and things like that. And I'm not even sure if they have an African American Day Parade. Somebody let me know. I've been waiting. I know North used to have one Memorial Day, downtown Broad Street. They had the African American. But if you notice about the parades, they have Christopher Columbus parade. They have New York City got a parade for everything. They got the little rainbow people, the little Fruit Loops and stuff like that. They have all types of different parades. So they've always been that way. They have just, because it's the capital of where everything started, and the record executives, they put who they want to put in front. And a lot of times is we'll always say, well, why is this person, like, what's the dude with the rainbow hair that's retarded? The special needs, short.
Right now.
I refuse to say his name. He's been pushed on,
right now.
yeah, he's been pushed on us as a culture. He has been told to us that this guy is a rapper and that we have to accept him. And because, again, we don't own the radio stations, he got a documentary on Hulu. He was able to have all this access and have all these platforms because we don't own anything. Every time I hear his song on the radio, I'll be damn near ready to crash because I got to turn it just because I know what he's doing is not rap. The fact that we as a people, we really have to stop doing this. We have to stop calling these enemies of ours because when we give them the name that they are a rapper, like this French and Iron guy. French Montana is not a rapper. I don't care what you call him, but by calling him a rapper, is you spitting in my face. I don't even think Eminem is a rapper. As far as I'm concerned, in order to rap, you have to be black. And if you're not, we can say what you do is karaoke. I don't care if you can put two words together and make them rhyme very nicely. You're good at karaoke. You just an expert. That's all it is. But the number one thing that you have to do in order to be a rapper is you have to be a foundational Black American. If you're not that, you could call whatever you want to call something else, but you can't call it rap. And until we start really saying that, you got these post Maloney, baloney people out here really thinking that what they doing is rap. And nobody is telling them. And I'd be mad as hell. Like, why are we even entertaining these people? Because a lot of them are like this. Dame Dash say a lot of things that's facts about the culture, even though he's a little salty. He got a reason to be. But a lot of this stuff is a lot of stuff being pushed on us by us telling us what's good. Like, and we have to, and if we say, we don't like it, we don't appreciate it. And the reason why the chocolate peanut dude was able to become a quote unquote the 8 Mile dude was because white people was buying hip hop and listening to hip hop and listening to rap. And as Black people, when we supported it, because again, they say 13% of the population, but it's more white people than Black people. So white people was like, oh, gnarly, oh God, we got somebody that's old. And a lot of white people started buying his music because a lot of, we bootleg, So that's why he became popular. Necessarily, it's not good or anything like that. But if you even Google rap, you'll see his picture come up and people have the nerve to even say, and I really think they should just jump off a bridge, that he is the best rapper alive. Like, the disrespect is just getting out of hand. But it's us, we have to really start calling these people good at karaoke because that's what they're doing. We need to figure out another name for whatever it is they want to be. Call them wiggers, call them wannabes. We have to figure out what we got to call them, but we got to stop calling them rappers because they're not rap. This DJ, the dude who was on the weight loss, got his album that's coming out. Like, he is, to me, he's a spit in the face to our culture. And we have Fat Man Scoop on every track. Yes, I didn't want to say his name. We had Fat Man Scoop on every track. It wasn't a track until Fat Man Scoop cooked the land. He was on there. Now this dude still his style, want to be around Black people, and he could care less about Black culture. You never hear him saying the Black Lives Matter, not saying Black Lives Matter, but actually doing something when he's saying the people who quote unquote support his music doing anything for Black people. And then he got all these Black people on his, and it's like they just selling their soul. He doesn't care anything about Black people. He doesn't. And the fact that they don't see this, but they're still aligning themselves with him because these corporations who, again, we don't own, we don't run, telling us that he is what's hot. Now, when my album come out, I'm going to have Fat Man Scoop. It's Mr. C's. Like, why is it we have Black DJs who were DJs in the 90s, but this is the guy that's being pushed up in the 2000s as this is the fuck? Excuse my French. I apologize. But it's just because they are pushing things on us, telling us what's hot, what is this, what is that. And that's why we have to really not necessarily start pushing back, but we indulge in this buffoonery of them telling us that this person is this and this person is that. And that's why I kind of started digging the underground rap scene, even though a lot of the beefs and stuff, even they pushing that on us. You got record producers getting life insurance on artists. Life insurance dying like is the new thing. And a lot of these rappers also are not foundational Black Americans. Somebody just said in the other thing that one of the dudes came by, I don't know who he is, but they say he was Haitian. And they pushing this death culture because Black music was never about that in the 80s when it first started. That's not who we are as a people. But other people started seeing dollar signs and started saying, wait a minute, this is profitable. And wait a minute. And also the mind game of it, we can tell these people to hurt and kill each other, and we can keep these ongoing beefs going, and we can make money. So they're making money off of our detriment, and we don't have anything to say about it. So we just have to really take into account, like, how is this guy is everybody's DJ, but we got Fat Man Scoop still out here. Why nobody putting him on the song? If you black, you know he out here. Why not put him on the song? Why not be a solid? But I see a hand go up, so I'm gonna land my plane. But
all right, T. Morgan, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's up, family? Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak, and thank you for hosting this room, Newstoter. Aunt Lee, I've never been in a space with you, but you are mind-blowing, sister. Your energy is just connecting. Your blows are just landing. You need to host. You need to be maybe on YouTube. You and Newstoter. Something like, y'all remember when, what was his name? Joe Boxer or whatever his name was. He had that show, State of the Union. Do y'all remember that?
I don't quite remember that one.
Yeah, it was him, two other people in hip-hop, two young people, I don't know their names, and Remy Ma. And they would come on a show every week and talk about the State of the Union.
State of the Culture by Joe Budden.
Yes, that's what it was. State of the Culture. But Newstoter, you, Aunt Lee, and some other people need to get together because you already have the space and y'all need to do something because y'all are spitting intelligence and just knocking into our heads everything we need to hear. We don't need to be supporting, what is that, what's that, worldwide hip hop. We don't need to be supporting that. They ain't doing nothing but making black people look bad. We need to be doing shows that capture our young people's attention and tell them from where they came from and who they are. Tell them how to not let what we are going through now with the stealing and the raping of our culture, show them how to avoid this shit. Y'all need to get together in the back room, put some heads together, and maybe have some kind of weekly show, weekly program where y'all just spitting these facts, this education. Y'all got to do it. Spaces, y'all bigger than spaces. And we need you out here. I land my plane.
Well, we definitely appreciate that vote of confidence, sister, and that's definitely something that we can definitely look forward to trying to do down the road. I'm game, and me, Aunt Live, my man DJ, I'm sure the black majority of the state, we can all get together and we can all do some stuff. I'm definitely game or whatever. So,
I'm sorry, I forgot about you, DJ. I meant to say DJ. I'm so sorry, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, DJ got to come too now.
I'm in the building.
Yeah, DJ got to come as well too. So we definitely that's definitely something that that we could definitely try to work on and get things flowing and whatnot. I see the hands coming up now too. So let me go ahead and try to see who's where. We got Rivera. We're gonna go Professor. Let's go Mr. Engaging. So we can get everybody that hasn't had a chance. We're gonna still get to the ones that have. Melrose, I was trying to get you on earlier. I see we had a connection issue. That's why I sent you an invite. So if you want to speak to, brother, you can go ahead and put your hand up, and we'll get you up in here as well too. So let me matter of fact, my man Melrose actually was trying to get in first. So let's let Melrose go, and then we're gonna get to you, Rivera, and we'll get to the rest of you guys as well too.
Peace, family. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so right now I'm outside in the Bronx. I don't know if you can hear the music in the background, but it definitely ain't hip-hop. Let me move away from it. But yeah, Fat Joe and Busta, they're both liars and niggers, and they're being given these marching orders from somewhere at the top, possibly from the DNC, because it's been expelled already. We all know that they're trying to not just take credit for our creation, but they're trying to erase us from history.
yesterday I was out at a park jam, Old Timers Day in Harlem, but there was a bunch of pioneers from the Bronx there. And basically the whole park was flooded with FBAs. Wasn't 20% Puerto Ricans, wasn't 30%, and it damn sure wasn't the 50-50 that Fat Joe's trying to talk about. So we're all on the right track, and we just got to continue to speak the truth. Now, as far as Grandmaster Caz and that comment he made, talking about the Puerto Rican presence or whatever the case may be, I had the opportunity to have a conversation with him where I don't know Cass. Yesterday was my first time introducing myself to him and meeting him. And initially, I had some other business that I meant to handle with him. But when he made that comment, I said, oh, I'll handle that after I handle the initial business. So after I handled the initial business and then we spoke on that video that he made, you can look on my page. There's a brief clip of the end of the conversation where he said, and he clarified that he was basically saying, yeah, you know, they had a presence and he said the word contribution, but really what he meant was, yo, those niggas was my sons. Like they would go to the store for me and stuff like that. So, you know, none of us are off in our recollection of history and the fact that we created these things before 79, before 73. Like a few folks already said, we were doing these things at the turn of the century, you know? So, yeah, and also before I land my plane, I just want to say, also to look for the new single from DJ Hollywood, DJ B Fats, and Fly Tie called Henny and Green that's coming out soon. Thank you.
All right, definitely do that. Next time you in the space, whenever y'all we got in the space and you want to put that up in the Jumbotron, you come up to speak, let me know, man. You go ahead and add that in there for the people and whatnot. Okay, let's see. Rivera, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right.
Go ahead, Rivera. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm saying was, I was hoping, I don't know if you guys heard, I was hoping to kind of add to what the other lady had said, and I really forgot what she said, but that's okay. Well, I'll just get to the point here. Music right now, I know, you know, hip hop is, you know, it's pivotal. We need some sort of change within the generations, and we really haven't had a change. You know, jazz music lasted from 1920s up until maybe the 1970s, and then that became funk and whatever else that was out, R&B, soul, and then we, you know, late 70s, 80s, we had hip hop, R&B, and I want to make this point: we lost the power of instrumentation within our youth, and what I mean by that is, and I said this in another stage, we don't have a lot of real musicians. We do. We have, you know, youth that play piano, keyboard, bass, etc. But right now, it's easier to just rap and get somebody to make some beats with, you know, the digital, with this digital age, making everything on Fruity Loops and Ableton and all these other programs, Pro Tools. When we lost is the art of the real musician. Now, I'm 38. I didn't necessarily grow up in the right era, but I grew up in the right city and state. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And during that time, a lot of the dudes my age, especially when I was like maybe 12, 13, 14, could play musical instruments. And it wasn't until about 98 I had left to live in Hempstead, New York, and I came back. And I remember reading the Source magazine. It was the first time I had bought like a hip-hop magazine. And it had Master P on the front. Now, prior to that, we could see Tupac, Biggie, real hip-hop artists. And I heard Master P, but I never thought of him as a real artist because he didn't have anything profoundly like, you know, intelligent, if you will. And me, you know, coming from New York, you know, coming from Oklahoma and now being a teenager and coming from New York and listening to the kind of music that was in New York at the time, I was really kind of like a music snob. So anyways, the point is that I'm making is this. somebody made this point a long time ago, and it's not a new point. We're losing a new generation of people who can't play instruments. They're reliant on beats that are digital. Everything, if you've noticed, the last 28, 29 years has all sound the same. All the producers sound the same. It's all the same stuff. It's all cookie cutter. It's all the same thing. So even right now, we're talking about who creating hip hop. Hip hop is literally like Nas and Jay-Z said. It's dead. Now we got youth, and I'm going to end with this. I got a daughter. She's 11 years old, and I'm teaching her to play the piano. I'm teaching her to play the guitar that I've got, and I want her to be able to play a musical instrument. And even if she doesn't, go and be a famous musician, I want her to know how to play an instrument, because the same things that apply with music apply with mathematics. So I think that and it's not even just that. It's the poetry of writing. Like, you could rap, but the poetry. Another point is like the Jay Electronica. He made a point about Wu-Tang. When they would talk about selling dope, it was the poetry behind it. It was, I'm selling dope, we're gonna kill some niggas. You damn near had to decipher what they were talking about because of the way that they went in. So I don't know, man. I think that I'm kind of all over the place, but I think that we've lost a special kind of vibration with music, especially with hip hop. And I think going forward, we're going to see that hip hop is getting ready to be completely taken over by non-foundational Black American audience. Thank you, guys.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you coming in, brother. Let's get to Professor. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, peace and love to the room. Reparations for everybody in the room. Glad to see all of us out talking about this issue and many other issues that's facing our community. Newstoter, man, once again, you and DJ, man, much love to the host, man. Y'all always do a great job. And the sister, T. Morgan, is absolutely right. Ain't Lie, you, DJ. Hey, man, I would love to see y'all bring back BET. Like have a BET show or something, or come up with something that relates to us, that it is not watered down.
It's in the works, trust me, man. But go ahead, though, bro. What's up?
That's what I'm talking about. But hey, look, I want to get y'all's perspective on all these rappers that have been in the game for years, like LL Cool J, Chuck D, KRS-One. Like, where are these guys at on all of this? Because it seems like to me, they should be standing up for our culture, man, saying, hey, this is ours. Y'all can't come and just take this over from us. The other thing, too, fellas.
One quick thing, Professor, but I'm not sure. But KRS may have some. He may also have some Caribbean in him. So, not to say I know this for certain, but I believe he may possibly have some Caribbean descent. But not to interrupt you. Go ahead, brother, because you're making a point. My bad.
Oh no, it's okay. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think you might have some. Yeah, I think you might be right on that. But let me say this: I want to see these rappers come out and speak out on other issues, because one thing I admire about Tupac spoke out on issues. Now, you can say whatever you want to say about him being in thug life or whatever you want to call it, but I'd never forget. I think it was in a 1992 interview. They were talking to him about Donald Trump. I think y'all probably have seen this interview. And he actually spoke about the issue of Donald Trump then, preparing us on what we just saw with Donald Trump. He spoke about that very issue, about Donald Trump being racist and all this stuff. So, one thing about Pac, he spoke about the issues in our community. He even spoke about issues out in California. He was always trying to be an activist, okay? And that's what I like to see, the guys that are in the rap game that appeal to the young Black minds. They should be out here advocating for us and speaking out on all these issues that's facing our community. But now it's like the rap game is all about the bling bling. It's like bling bling and I'm gonna shoot you and all this shit. It's just crazy out here with this hip hop stuff now. I don't know who all these rappers are now. I guess you got the Little Durks and I think I heard some other name, Quando Rondo and King Von, and I'm like, man, I don't know really any of these rappers out here now, but they don't speak out on issues that's related to us. It's like they going all out on thug shit now, is what this is. So I just want to get y'all's take on all of that.
No doubt. Let me first go ahead and thank Miss Teresa for her contribution on Cash App. You're right. Tupac covered many topics and subjects. He was deeper than so many other rappers out there. Whether you thought he was the best lyricist or whatever, his wordplay, you couldn't really question the depth of his lyrics. I know he would go from point A to point B. One minute he was thugged out, and the next minute he was talking about some revolutionary type stuff. But he did cover probably a wider variety of topics than any other rapper probably definitely at that time. So you have to give him his due and whatnot in terms of that. And I just want people to know that we're not denigrating the contribution of Caribbean or Latino rappers to hip hop. We're just saying that you're not the originators of it, and it's not a equal input in terms of what you put into the actual pot. Now, you don't have some people disagree with that. They can disagree all they want to, because I can tell you like this right here. We're talking about just the value of Black American music worldwide, and you can include white music as well too. I mean, there's really no comparison worldwide, and that includes the diaspora as well too. So we're not taking a shot at the Black diaspora. We're not taking a shot at Hispanics or Latino and their contributions to hip hop. But one group in this country has a greater track record of success in terms of global impact of music than any other group in the world. And to sit up here and act like they couldn't come up with hip hop when they came up with soul and R&B and gospel and country and blues and jazz and every damn thing else under the sun is just ridiculous. Like, I mean, like I say, we can go ahead and we can take the top 20 artists from here in America, and we'd be hard pick. Everybody in here would be fighting over who should be on that list. If they was Black American, everybody in here could perhaps have 7, 8 different lists that's nothing alike. So to sit up here and act like that, we have to lean and use somebody else as a crutch, is a complete insult. Because like I said, there is no equivalent of a Stevie Wonder. Forget Michael Jackson. Forget Whitney Houston. Forget Prince. There is no equivalent in the diaspora, and there's no equivalent in Latin America to somebody, a Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles or B.B. King, let alone when you're talking about Marvin Gaye, or Teddy Pendergrass, or Barry White. So let's just, come on, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, or Diana Ross. So let's just stop the nonsense here, man. There is no group in the world, and I'm talking about Black, white, Asian, whatever, that can compare to what Black Americans have done historically on a musical level. And anybody that sits up here and tries to sit up here and pin it, because I guarantee you this right here. You can have 100,000 people in attendance to see Michael Jackson perform, and they could be all white. But there's not a white artist that ever lived that you're going to have 100,000 Black people in there to see him. 100,000 Black people are not going to show up to see Elvis Presley. They're just not. You're not going to see grown Black men falling out over Elvis Presley or Mick Jagger or Paul McCartney. So let's just stop the nonsense here, man. There's no comparison. Mr. Engaging, go ahead, brother, and unmute your mic.
Hey, Mr. Engaging, let me answer Professor real quick. So, Professor, first of all, KRS, he always acknowledged that he Black first, but he is Black American and maybe a little Trinidad mix. But we already know Chris Black first, Bronx brother, straight up born. He done a lot of stuff for the culture. A lot of stuff, bro. These same conversations we had, they had these conversations, him, Bambaataa, Hurt. They was all in the room together, just like we was, but they was really there together, in the room together, right next to each other, along with a whole lot of other top iconic hip-hop folks that you never even heard their name before. Was in that room, bro. You feel what I'm saying? And they ain't talking about the same shit. How can we use hip-hop to feed our people? That's basically what the conversation was. But they couldn't pull it off, man, because it was just too many ideologies. You feel what I'm saying? Too many other mental mind states and, just individualism. I guess that's the word for it. You know what I'm saying? Too much individualism because the money was starting to flow. You feel what I'm saying? In hip hop. You feel what I'm saying? And it was something else I wanted to say too. I guess I'll leave it there. Go ahead, Mr. Gage. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. In the jumbotron, I put in Professor's Tupac video about Trump just for support, and I also put another thing in the jumbotron. We're forgetting about Akon. Akon needs to be a part of this list along with Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe. Akon,
Super fact.
yeah. In 2005, he made I thought, a statement towards our plight. And yet still, this man made a song about being incarcerated. I'm locked up. It sounded like he was making a joke, and he made a really cash hit on it.
Hey, yo, he might be the granddaddy coon, yo, of all this shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? Akon. And that's my dog still, though. But yeah, Akon, we ain't gonna never forget no reparations. We coming for that money. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Yeah. And this is the reason why I'm bringing it up. I felt that as a community, we didn't forcibly attack that issue the way we ought to. And I feel like opened up the door for Busta Rhymes, the Fat Joe, to keep on going further with this narrative of denigrating Black culture and saying that we don't even have a culture, and this narrative that they keep running with. And I just wanted to just post that article up just saying that Akon needs to be on that list as well.
No doubt. Akon, he has said some slick stuff as well too. So about Black Americans and their plight and whatnot. And once again, here's somebody else that came to America, got into an actual genre that Black Americans created, made a lane for himself, became a millionaire. Now he's over there doing stuff for his people in Africa, which I have no problem with. Props to this brother. But you're sitting up here telling Black Americans what they need to do and this and that. You know, we have never once went to where you from, Akon, Senegal or whatever, and told the Senegalese to get over being colonized and this and that. So that's what we're talking about, the disrespect there. Brother, you done came over here, got yourself into the actual Black American culture, became a millionaire, and you sitting up here talking about what Black Americans need to do. While it was a genre that Black Americans created, popularized, made financially a market for people to come in here and capitalize off, and you sitting up here running your mouth talking about Black Americans. That's part of the damn disrespect we talking about right here. I mean, that's a slap in the damn face. That's something Black Americans, they would not go to Africa and sit up there and go to and engage in Afro beats, become millionaires, and start dissing the damn people in the land.
Hold on. Afrobeats is house music. Afrobeats is house music, and again, how it came from disco to that still our shit. Go say, on the floor.
But you get what I'm saying. They're not gonna go over there and do that.
Jersey Club. You know what I'm saying? On live Jersey Club, yeah. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
But you get what I'm saying. We're not going to go into another culture and go into their homeland and start and become millionaires, you know, become successful, become stars, create generational wealth for our families and stuff, and then start sitting up there dissing the natives and stuff like that. That's not something we do. So that's another issue. That's another disrespectful thing like that you hear too many times. People from different parts of the diaspora coming over here taking shots at Black Americans about what Black Americans need to do. Now, brother, you need to go ahead and try to get your country up to par. You know, but if we was to go over there and say stuff like how white people talk about Africa or the Caribbean, about how they live and this and that, everybody would have an issue with that. But yet it's okay for people to come over here and criticize Black Americans while taking part in their culture and becoming successful. So that's the issue. Shepard, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, peace to the room.
Peace.
Hey, Shepard, I can't message you back. I'm blocked, bro. My bad. I'll see you in about 4 or 5 days, dog. We'll pick up the conversation.
You gotta chill, man. You gotta chill out. Yo, there's so many blocked accounts, man. You gotta chill, man. This shit ain't really all that serious, man. You see if you part of a certain thing, getting flags, you gotta chill out, man. Have a burner or some shit. I'm not talking about you, just in general, you know.
The burner account banned too. So yeah, it's wild. We're wild right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not a game, dog.
I'm not surprised, man. A lot of people getting plucked off.
And look, this the unteenth account. So I've been here before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just a year on Twitter, so I ain't really pressed like that. They snatch me up, I'm good, and I'm gonna make bail, get another account. But y'all already know I'm not 100% on the team, but I ain't 100% off the team either, man. We all share a common culture. We all American, born and raised, and I think we all love music. You know, there's some good things going on with the culture that we kind of get sidetracked from even really speaking on. So, you know, like breakdance and get ready to go to the Olympics, man. That's major. That's like real major. Like that's a beautiful thing. You know, something that we created, our dance style and our, you know, energy is worldwide. And then I think we get caught up just talking about rapping all the time. Rapping is rapping. We know we are lyricists. We are gifted gabs. Nobody gonna touch us with that. I think we get caught up a little bit too much in the victimization of ourselves. We aren't respected. They're trying to take something. Somebody else is the op. We got to make sure we gatekeep. I'm just not, that's just not my thing. You know, if that's your thing, you do that. You know, there's bigger conversations to me, man. You know, I don't really want to have a repetitive fake conversation that really ain't a pressing problem. You know, you want to get me really amped up. Let's talk about the record companies. Let's talk about Stax Record and them, all their whole catalog getting stolen by Capitol Records. Capitol, right? Let's talk about the robbery and theft of black artists by the J people and the other people, you know, the WASP, the Protestant, whatever you call it, the Ivory Snows. Let's talk about that. Like, I think we caught up in this oppositional, you know, shoot back over musical opinions at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, like, it ain't that serious to me. Like, Fat Joe opinion. Let me build. Can I talk about myself?
I'm gonna let you finish, but I gotta chime in here real quick. I gotta say something because it's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. It's a lie. I mean,
it's an opinion in music, though.
No,
It's an opinion.
A lie.
It's
a
his
lie.
opinion.
No, it's a lie.
Whether you consider it a lie, it's his opinion.
It's either a fact or it's an opinion. The fact of the matter is that Latinos did not do half and half with black people. That is.
All right, can I finish cooking? Because I don't want to get off track. Because you getting back into this opposition shit.
Brother,
and my whole thing, what I was talking about.
That's what the topic, brother. That's what the topic is on. Yeah, but that's what the topic is on, though. But go ahead, bro.
I'm well aware of it, but I'm speaking from my own opinion. And if you believe that he lied, then that's what you believe. But this is my op. I got the speaker mic, and this is my opinion. And it ain't really got to be accepted. I told you, I'm not really with you. I'm not against you, but I ain't with you. So I'm just speaking my opinion. And I don't mean to offend you by speaking my opinion. But in my opinion, these ops are fake, man. We got bigger fish to fry than oppositional music opinions, whether they are correct or incorrect. There's still opinions in music. And music will be debated to the end of time. Who did what did who. I'll give you a prime example. The crux of this argument is called the precursor argument. And a precursor is just a fancy way to say before. And in our timeline of music, there are some significant moments in Black American music that are the befores. So there is the fact that we had a language in Africa that we were put on a boat and we were singing in that language. Then we got taken off that boat and we were still singing in that language. Then they started killing us and they cut our tongues out and taught us Christianity. Now we're singing the first Negro spirituals after about a generation of our tongues being cut out. So from Negro spirituals, we start doing something else called Jubilees. And from Jubilees, they steal that. This is the first real step. So first they inject us with poison by taking our shit, our language, and then they inject us with poison by putting in the Christianity in us that we did not have in us coming here. And then we start singing because we start now to be brainwashed into their system of pacification. So now we're singing. We're not African anymore. We're Negro singing. So now we're on Jubilee. So then the minstrel shows come out and they're mocking us for how we are and they're singing like us. So then we start copying the minstrel shows and there's something that comes from that which is called vaudeville.
So this is a precursor. This is a series of events in musical history of how we actually got to where we at right now. From vaudeville, they copied vaudeville and started doing white vaudeville and started copying us off of that. So it just keeps going on and on and on. So there's always a before soul, before funk, right? There was vaudeville, right? And then before that, it was all of the comedy shit and before jazz and classical and all the shit that we invented. It was always a before. So my issue with the precursor argument is that even though hip hop came in 73, many people say that hip hop started went way back in the 20s and the 10s and all of that. But that's the precursor argument, because hip hop started in 73 when it came together in the Big Bang. The rest of the music was its own music. I'm not going to sit here and say that vaudeville was jazz, because it wasn't. It was vaudeville. And jazz is not R&B, even though it took parts of R&B took parts of jazz. It's just a different musical genre, even though it was before. So I don't even agree with the precursor argument as the definitive way to say, hey, this is all ours, which we know it is, but that nobody else could add little components to it because it's all ours, right? There are parts of music that other people put their spin in our shit and contributed. And that's really what the breakdown of the argument really is at the end of the day. Who contributed? Well, half the breakbeats are white and Latino and black mixed bands. The average white band, the Winstons, the dude who made the big beat. I got the big beat. Boom, boom, pat, boom, boom. That's sampled like 1,500 times. The Winstons is sampled 2,500 times. That's not black music. That beat that was taken for samples, that's part Latino, part white, part black. Like it's so there is a mixture. So there is a mixture there is a mixture of breakbeats.
Chef, the most samples do in the
Chef, you just made our point, bro.
Right. Okay, I'm not making anybody.
And the samples that was coming were from black people. So
no, they all weren't. Not all of them were.
The vast majority of them were, bro.
Yeah, the
vast majority of the samples were from black people.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I'm gonna let you cook. I just want to say this one thing.
I'm gonna just want to say this one thing. It ain't even gonna be 1,000 seconds. The most sampled man in the game is James Brown.
That's a fact.
Right there all day. So it's like
nobody dispute that.
If James Brown got like 75% of the samples ever made, get a drummer song.
Nah, he doesn't. But I'm talking about breakbeat.
Make it funky. You know what I'm saying? I'm black.
No. It's a difference between samples and breakbeats. It's a big difference. Because
that's where the breakbeats came from. Jokers was breakbeating off them James Brown records.
No. It's thousands of breakbeats. No. I understand what you're saying, but you're talking about samples. James Brown is the most sampled dude in the game. I agree with you 100%. You're absolutely right. But breakbeats are something different than samples. Breakbeat can't be a sample. A breakbeat can be a sample, but it's more of how rap music began in the breaks. It's more how Flowers and Herc and Mario became famous for what they did by extending the breaks of breakbeats. So it's not about James Brown samples. It's more about the origin of hip hop. Hold on, let me finish, man. Let me cook, because I know I'm cooking.
That's called beat juggling. It wasn't.
We call it the break. The break beat.
How old are you?
All right, let me finish cooking though.
Hey, go ahead and let it finish. Yeah, go ahead and get about 40 more seconds and finish it up.
All right, give me a minute, because I know I'm cooking because I'm talking fact. So look.
Yeah, right. Go ahead. You got 45 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So break beats are a universal vibe. There was no specific break beats that were all made by black people. The bands was mixed because we were cooperating musically. Like the brother said, we were into musicianship. So we weren't like looking at you and saying, hey, you can't be a part of this band if you was funky. You know what I'm saying? If you was funky with your musicianship, if you played that instrument or played them bongos or played whatever, you was in the band. So that's how breakbeats started. Like breakbeats was really a part of a mixed heritage of music. So a lot of people don't know about the producers that was Spanish in hip hop, and I haven't heard anybody talk about the producers that really made about 10 pivotal records that produced them, played the instruments, laid down the break beats, and are famous in hip hop. And one of the guys, you can look him up. His name is Pumpkin. He died of AIDS, of pneumonia, in the late 80s. But he got like 10 of the biggest hip hop records, and he a straight up Spanish dude that he died in the 90s. Andre Harrell was trying to sign him. Like, he was that fucking nice. And he was laying down tracks and producing for the first hip hop record companies. His name is Pumpkin. And the dude is straight. It ain't no black in him, even though he look black. And it's just a lot of people that's unsung heroes, that's producers, that are people that worked on equipment that you just don't know about. Even with a lot of white boys, there's a lot of white boys we don't even know about that were in these bands that were laying down some funky ass music. So the argument just gets stuck on, did we create it? Yes, we did. But is it a multicultural genre that was built on unity of bringing everybody on board to make something that was totally unique? Yes, it was. It could be both things. We could have both created it and shared it without being oppositional. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
but they're saying we didn't create it.
All I'm saying is this right here.
Hold on. I want to respond to this.
Hold on.
Got niggas in an uproar. Look.
All I'm saying is that it was not 50-50. It wasn't no 50-50. You can say we had plenty black bands and stuff back there in the damn 70s that was all black. Was LTD? Did they have a bunch of white people in their band back then? What about Earth, Wind and Fire? How many white boys did they have in their band and Latinos they had in their band? So come on, bro. It's not. I get what you're trying to say. I know you're trying to do the Rainbow Coalition, the unity thing, and that. I get what you were saying. You made some valid points about their bigger fish to fry, about how black people have been screwed systematically in the music business. I agree with that. When you talk about the contracts, when you talk about the publishing, when you talk about all of this stuff, I get what you're saying. But right now, that's apples to oranges. We got a dude that's up here that's ate off the plate of black people, sitting up here talking about that his people were equal contributors, and that's nonsense. His people were not equal contributors, nor did the Caribbeans were they equal contributors in the damn process of hip hop. That's just a fact. Now I get what you're saying. There's a no, that's my opinion. No, it's either the truth or it's not the truth. It's either a fact or it's an opinion. See, a fact is that I'm a man that's talking. That's not an opinion. Okay? That's not an opinion. Opinion is that, hey, I think that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback that ever played football. Even though he got 7 Super Bowl rings, that's an opinion. Okay? But a fact of the matter is that a man is up here talking. That can't be disputed. That's not an opinion. So I get what you're trying to say and whatnot, but no, it's not. It's not a fact. We're not equals in this right here.
What are you saying is not a fact? The 50-50 thing? I never said that.
Okay, so that's the argument that we're trying to say right here tonight with Fat Joe. Fat Joe is saying that Latinos and blacks are 50-50 in the creation of hip-hop.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's what we're saying. That's nonsense. We're not saying that.
I didn't say that, Toto. I don't put that shit on me.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm in the first 48. I didn't say that shit.
Well,
that's what Fat Joe said.
Let me clarify what Shepard was trying to say, though, real quick.
Go ahead.
They're not even to speak for you, Shepard. Shepard is just basically saying, like, there are some real unsung folks that, like, we just don't really understand how, like, you know, even though, yeah, we feel we are the creators of, like, the style of hip-hop and everything surrounding hip-hop, you know, beats, you know, certain b-boying, certain DJing styles, certain, you know, graffiti, knowledge yourself, you know what I mean? Just those parts of the elements. But what Shepard is also saying, if not for, like, again, the Japanese, like, you know, the phonograph was created here in America, but the Japanese perfected the shit out of this turntable, yo. Just keep it real. The Technique 1200, this shit is the greatest instrument on the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying?
On the planet.
You know what I'm saying? On the fucking planet. It's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? You know, Grandmaster Flash is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Don't forget Bose speakers, my nigga.
Yeah, that's crazy too. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of shit like that we can acknowledge in the game that, you know, the unsung, you know, cat, you know, like Bob Moog, who created the Moog synthesizer. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Bob Moog. Some of the most iconic melodies you ever heard. You know what I'm
All
saying?
the white boys that created Macintosh amp.
So we can get credit to that. We can get credit to that. Hold on, I'm about to yell. Hold on a minute. I'm about to yell. And the Akai MPC that was created, by the Japanese as well. You know what I'm saying? They got a mean footprint on the game, the Japanese. And when you go over to Japan, they got a subculture called Blackanese, and they black and hip hop to the bone, yo. To the bone, yo, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Look this shit up, yo. You know what I mean? How you did?
No doubt. And like I said, we acknowledge that there's other people and we said that they were contributors in hip hop. We're not saying that. It's a difference. We give knowledge, we give respect to the Caribbeans who contribute, we give respect to the Latinos that contribute. What we're saying that they're not the creators. We're not equal in terms of the creation of this art form. There's a creator and then there are contributors. So yeah, we definitely go ahead and we give knowledge and we give honor to those that help contribute to this great this great art form, but we're all not the same. We're not all the same creators of it. That's what we're saying. That's discussion.
Did hip hop come together in 1973?
To me, it was always elements of hip hop before 1973.
So the answer is no.
Well, I guess if you want to say in terms of an actual in terms of an actual structure, in terms of actual I guess what the hip hop that we know today, I guess you could say that, but I mean, who's to say that it didn't come together before then? Maybe.
Well, I just want to see what you're saying, fam.
I'm gonna say, hey Shepard, I'm gonna say it could try to come together at that meeting. So that's the other thing I wanted to say. Everybody just take a moment and go sub to the Temple of Hip Hop and KRS-One and go over to his YouTube, the Temple of Hip Hop. If we say we hip hop, right? Well, why the Temple of Hip Hop ain't got 1 million subscribers? And this is for all cultures. We could collectively say that shit right now, Shepard. That should be all thing. If Asians say they hip hop and Latinos say they hip hop and whites say they hip hop, then everybody need to go subscribe to the Temple of Hip Hop because KRS-One do weekly lessons. Talk about the history of hip hop. Spirituality. Things we could do surrounding hip hop or what the real hip hop is. You can't be hip hop if you ain't doing this. If you ain't living right, eating right, teaching the youth, you can't be hip hop. It ain't just about music and breakdancing, yo. You know what I'm saying? So those that say they hip hop, no, you're not hip hop. You a rapper. You're not an MC. You know what I mean? So we could agree on that. So Temple of Hip Hop, everybody go subscribe to that right now.
Let's
Hey, Newstoter. Flowers and DJ Mario was before her. Taught her a lot. I mean, he emulated. They got a few years ahead of her. Unfortunately, Flowers got on drugs and he passed away. He sold his equipment and all his records, and he passed away. So did Mario, Disco King Mario. He died early as well. Or we would be talking about them. Only difference between her, Mario, and Flowers is where they were at and the respect level that each of them had in the community. Herc, as you can tell from his name, people don't realize this. His name is short for Hercules because he's 6'6". It was a big ass nigga who carried a lot of motherfucking weight and had the gangs behind him and had a lot of juice. So it took a real big figure to really pull this shit together. And that's why people call him the father of hip hop, because he was able to make niggas that wanted to kill each other not kill each other, all come to one place, not shoot the shit up. The Dreads, remember they said in 86 that the Dreads Brooklyn was crazy. The Dreads wouldn't shoot his shit up. Everybody respected him, and it took that type of nigga, and it's a nigga like him in every neighborhood that command respect and could pull niggas together. And that's the only reason why he the father of hip hop. Not because he was first in it, it's because of who he was as a human being. So I just wanted to put that out there, man.
No doubt. Let's let Mikhail go ahead and get a chance to speak. Go ahead, Mikhail. I know you knew this. You had your hand up, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Great One, for the DJ family. Just living a dream and winning as usual. All right, so there's a difference between the electrification, the amplification, the computerization, the exploitation, and the assimilation of foundational Black American content. You understand? There's the NAM show, and then there's the Black American experience. You understand? They don't have our DNA. They do know how to assimilate and exploit what we create. Our music, our culture is our oil. Unfortunately, we don't leverage or optimize it the way we should. We're not using them. They're using us to send their kids to college. They're using us to create their legacy. You understand? And I'll land with this. As a kid, I lost my father. But the only father figure and mentor I had was a man named Isaac Hayes, right? And I mean, the true personification of king, man, manhood, manliness. And there were only a few times when I really seen him hurt or bothered. And one of those times, and I know the brother mentioned Stacks, was later in his life when he was fighting to get his publishing back from Almo Irving. And Isaac, he was an older man, and he had to do tours, as tired as he was, to stay alive, you understand? The last time I saw Ike, I had to literally, in Atlantic City, I had to walk him to his piano on stage because he was so tired that he couldn't even get to his piano. He went back to Memphis and had a stroke. You understand? So this is how they do us. And he's not the only person they've done like this, only foundational that they've done like this, where they rape you for your natural resources. You understand? Catch you at a low point, have you sign agreements, put their names on your copyrights, on your publishing, and then say, you haven't done shit. So we have to be mindful of the difference between the entertainment industrial complex and our oil, our natural resources that drives this trillion-dollar industry, multi-trillion-dollar industry globally. That's facts. I'll land with that. Love you, family.
One love, my boy.
Yeah, that was dope, son. I'm the one who mentioned Stacks and Capitol Record. Yeah, Isaac. I didn't know Isaac died like that though.
Yeah, bro, all the way actually over in Africa. But shout out to Philly though. You already know. You know what I mean? Shout out to the outside of homies too. Jersey in the building. You know what I mean? That's the homie McCall right there.
Hey, Ray, you want to say something? I know you had your hand up earlier. I meant to get back to you, bro.
No, man, y'all go ahead, man. I'm enjoying the conversation, man. I was way back when they was talking about you getting your own show or whatever. I was just gonna say, man, definitely if you decide to put that together, let me know. Anyway, I can support them. Definitely gonna do that. But I'm enjoying the conversation, man. Go ahead and go to the next person.
We already know you're gonna support, bro. So we already know that. So you'll be one of the first to subscribe to the channel. So you ain't gotta tell us that. We pretty much already know that. So Aunt Lai, let you go ahead and get back and rock the mic again. Everybody want to hear what you got to say. So,
okay, I'm scared because I don't mean to be disrespectful, but this is why you don't eat everybody cooking.
Because in the building, there's no clear. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
You end up eating with raisins and a potato salad. So you just got to be careful because everybody cooking, but you can't eat what everybody's cooking. We have to make sure that we educate our kids and teach them as far as their culture is concerned, because when it comes to my kids, I make sure that they are taught their history. We watched something on Harriet Tubman because I don't want nobody telling them it's an underground series that came on WGN TV with by John Legend and Misha Green, and it was an excellent show. It did 2 seasons. It was so powerful they canceled it. And then Amazon decided to water down the Underground Railroad, and they made their own underground series on Prime TV. And in that series, and I didn't want to watch it because I wanted to stab somebody. I really wanted to stab somebody. In that series, in the Underground Railroad, they had MFers on a fucking train. You had you going down. You was at a train station and you was having conversations with people about the struggle of the black people, but they glamorized our struggle, and it was disrespectful on so many levels. And if it wasn't for people constantly talking about speaking truth to power, speaking facts about what was going on, you really got some of these folks, and I don't want to say anything about these millennials, but they really was thinking, Portia, that it was a train, even though she said that before the thing, that she was thinking, well, this was the train stop. Well, you have people actually thinking that it was an actual train in the Underground Railroad. We got to make sure we can teach our kids. We have to make sure that we continue to teach them the history about what is what is. If something was started 40 years before it was named, just because you name it, you can be the leader because you name something. But if you already have things, and that's like Christopher Columbus discovering America. I'm so glad people are not saying that he no longer discovered something that was already there, but that is what it's akin to. Yes, we have people collaborating, and we cannot give kudos and more credit to equipment that makes a sound better. Like Mikhail was just saying, he so eloquently said it. I say it so ghetto, so I apologize. I'm working on being polished. But just because the sound is improving doesn't mean that is the talent. Like he said, we are the oil. And you have these culture vultures that they bother my soul to the core. Lord Jesus, the Underground Railroad was not in the train station. It was not. That's not an opinion.
Were you talking about DJ equipment?
I don't know about DJ equipment. I'm not a DJ. I'm just saying the Underground Railroad was not in a train station. And we had to be careful that we are not making things, because we're saying it in the 70s because that's when it was named. When we clearly have proof. And it's like, how you like dealing with the Trumpers and not being realistic. When something is the truth, you have to be willing to change your mind to the facts of the matter. That's like, for example, baby mamas. Baby mama name came in the 90s. That didn't mean that we didn't have, that's not a good example because it's a baby mama, but I'm just struggling over here. But just because I'm really struggling.
That is a good example.
It was so much. It was so much. But I just was really like fighting a minute ago. But we just have to be important that we educate ourselves and understand that it is ours. It is Black America. Other people along the way have stolen it, and they've attempted to make it theirs. And just because they have a Black Chinese in China does not mean that is okay. In China, they don't even like Black people. Like, they hate us to the core. And the fact that they have that, to me, it's like the blackface all over again. Like, this whole industry is just. I just had to take a blood pressure pill because I'm heated. I also want to say from earlier, T. Morgan, I do have a podcast coming out. My book is probably going to be the 15th of September. I have a podcast and I have a YouTube channel. In addition to my book, so I'm working on that. And I've been telling DJ for the longest. I told you, DJ, we need to show. I told you. So yeah,
I have followed you, so I'm looking forward to that. And I feel your passion and what you are relating to what this previous guy spoke on. I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yes, I just, I be trying, because I'm older now, and I understand how people get mad at the youth, and I try to just understand that you have some people, again, some people eat raisins in their potato salad, and you don't want to judge those people. I'm judging those people. I'm a judge. And the reason why, okay, I remember. The reason why a lot of these artists are not speaking out about what's going on, LL Cool J, that's my twin, we got the same birthday, LL Cool J and Slick Rick, so you already know if it's hip-hop, it's in me because LL Cool J, Slick Rick. Now, the reason why they don't speak out is because they have PR teams. And they have certain people tell them what they cannot do and cannot say, and they don't think some things are safe. Some of them don't care and they speak out regardless, but 9 times out of 10, if you're dealing with a lot of volatile and issues, they don't speak out. And a lot of times they may speak to the person behind the scenes about certain things, but as far as speaking out, taking a stand, which is what they should do, you have a lot of people that are cowards. Now I'm not gonna say the Capricorns the same day as me they born, they're not the cowards. We gonna say everybody else is the cowards. But that is why they have PR teams. They see it as a hot topic, and a lot of this is they're told what they can and cannot say. So I will land my plane, but we just have to understand that, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Okay.
No doubt. Y'all make sure y'all are looking at Jumbotron for Aunt Li's book. Go ahead and buy that book. Once again, try to go ahead and support the sister. Buy that book. Go ahead and support her. She definitely can use that support. We see we got Marcel up in the house, so we're going to go ahead and let Marcel touch it. Y'all also make sure you support Newstoter on Cash App. That is $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter as well. DJ, make sure you put the DVDs up, the DVDs you got up there in the Jumbotron as well too. So
I don't even know if I can post it to Jumbotron, but go ahead, Marcel.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
I'll send you the link, but go ahead. What's up, Marcel? Everybody support Marcel too.
Hey y'all, I think somebody else was ahead of me actually.
Everybody else spoke.
You go, Marcel.
Everybody else spoke.
The next
so we got after you, Marcel, we got
the art of dialogue, brother, right there. Then we'll come back to somebody else after that.
Yeah, so you go, Marcel, and we're gonna go to art of dialogue.
Okay, well, I just want to say, first of all, that guy that was Justin Hand Shepherd, he's extremely anti the reparations movement. I don't even think he is a freedman. He says extremely negative things about what he tries to call FBA a group. He definitely says a lot of negative things about me. He's thirsty for my attention. This is going to be the first and last time I ever give it to him. He was the guy that came into space and talked about the Irish came over to America to stop slavery. Okay, so that's who we're dealing with there. And I was going to call him out on stage. I never give him any attention because that make he'll probably bust a nut if I gave him attention. So I'm going to grant his wishes, and he'll probably mark this day down his calendar, never wash the clothes he was wearing. He sees a lot of, he goes into a lot of those spaces where the tethers are saying nasty, hateful things about freedmen. He tries to say FBA is a group. I think he's even shared that sign FBA is a hate group petition before. So you can't take people like that seriously. I don't even think he is freedman. I doubt he is. In any case, though, to Busta and Fat Hole, first of all, this is not new. But you see, y'all, times have changed. Times have changed a lot. We need to stop saying that people have hijacked our culture. No, they haven't. We keep evolving. We keep evolving. Okay? We do gospel. We do ragtime. We do blues. We do folk. We do jazz. We do soul. We do rap. We do R&B. People want to talk about Latin jazz. Do y'all know I'm proud to be a South Carolinian, obviously, because James Brown is often quoted as the biggest influence in what would come to be called hip-hop. But elements of hip-hop already existed. Breakdancing, we already were doing that long before the 1970s. Rapping was happening before the 1970s, okay? DJing was happening before the 1970s. A lot of these things were already happening. But the fusion that would come to be called hip-hop, a lot of the earliest people cite James Brown as the influence. His culture was not no damn Puerto Rican nor Jamaican. His culture was rural South Carolina, okay? Latin jazz, since Fat Hope wants to try to claim our culture, Latin jazz actually comes from South Carolina as well. Dizzy Gillespie introduced bebop style of jazz, and that is where a lot of the Latin rhythms came from. You can look it up. So if anything, we need to start taking credit for these other musical forms that exist on the African continent and throughout Latin America in the Caribbean. You would not have salsa without Black American jazz, okay? You would not have reggae without Black American blues and gospel. You would not have Afro beats without Black American disco and funk. So, if anything, we've been way too modest around here. We need to start making it known to people we did this. Reggaeton will not exist without disco, house music, and hip hop. So, not only are they not going to hijack our culture, we're going to let them know that your culture came from us. We breed culture into culturalist people and places. That's what we do. And they cannot steal anything from us. Elvis died a long time ago. And yet, let someone say that Elvis was the king of rock and roll. Black people will go ballistic. We know our history. Even my students know that Black Americans started rock and roll. They know that Black Americans are the people that started jazz. So we need to give ourselves more credit and understand that even on TikTok, where you got these foolish Generation Zs, they are over there shutting down people who try to take credit for our culture. You can't steal what belongs to us. I don't care how many lies you tell. People say you say a lie enough time, it becomes the truth. I never agree with that. That's a lie. You can say a lie 50 trillion times, and guess what? It's still going to be a lie. Because it's never going to become the truth, no matter how many idiots believe it. Especially when it comes to us. We are always going to gatekeep our damn culture. So, I saw somebody made a tweet where Busta and Fat Hope, they said they've been getting a vicious backlash by saying that Latinos and Jamaicans brought hip hop. You see, things have changed, y'all. If this was in the 90s or maybe even the early 2000s, they probably would have gotten no backlash and probably would have been able to just kind of, say this and he's on down the road. Now they're getting it handed to them. Okay? People are realizing the culture has changed. Okay? We are not on that energy any longer. We're on the gatekeeping, circling our wagons, and not making any apologies, not holding our heads low and talking softly. That's the energy we are on. And I just want to say, if there's anyone near who's in South Carolina or near South Carolina, I need you to please sign up for the what I call footprints in the sand. That's just a cool term. We say feet on the ground, boots on the ground. I think we need to start becoming a little bit more organized in South Carolina. We need to come together, those of us who are in South Carolina, to start doing work on the ground. I just want to announce, Newstoter, I know you don't mind me doing this, thank you. I just want to announce that I am now the co-chair for the policy committee of the South Carolina Black Democratic Caucus. I don't give a goddamn about no damn Democratic Caucus. It's all about reparations. I just was on the phone for 2 hours with the guy who's the co-chair. He's an 80-year-old elder. So, his attitude is more, but we got to be practical. I mean, we deserve reparations. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's why I'm here. So now, but this is not it. I'm working on other things, but I need us to sign up, and we need to have Zoom meetings, and we need to plan initiatives. So if you are in South Carolina, please
Put it in the Jumbotron too.
Okay, yeah, I'll put it in the Jumbotron. Please go to my page and sign up. So we are going to have action plans. Like, we got to get this done. South Carolina is booming right now in regards to reparations. It's actually getting talked about in the halls of our state Congress. But, I'm looking for federal. But we got to get our people on cold with it. And that's when we come to contact. And so far, that tweet's gotten 7 likes. If I put a tweet about nonsense, it'll be booming. We got to do better. And that's all I want to say. Thank y'all.
No doubt, Marcel. And I know you don't really give a crap about the chairman thing, but congratulations nonetheless. And I'm sure you'll use that to go ahead and further push the agenda for Black folks in this country. So definitely, congratulations. And we know you're going to use that platform to go ahead and push the things that needs to be pushed. The art appeal, go ahead and unmute your mic.
How's it going? I'm just going to talk about the Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe. I'm kind of with Marcel. You can't steal our culture. You just got peep game and then make a plan around it. Harvard is making classes. They had a class for Tupac already, and now they got one for hip hop. I just noticed that. I posted in the Jumbotron. And so other colleges that might be trying to make money that benefited off of slavery, mind you. Harvard benefited off slavery, Yale benefited off slavery, University of Delaware. That's just to name a few. And so we got to watch, particularly for those. They shouldn't be teaching anything about hip hop, in my personal opinion. But I like to be solutionary. There's open education and open author. I also put that in the Jumbotron. We need to start putting hip hop, our own hip hop classes on there. So, you know what I'm saying? That's open to the public. It's free to put the information on there. You can gatekeep how you fit. You know what I'm saying? That's how, let's just be solutionary instead of waiting for them to teach our classes. Because I'll tell you right now, some beneficiaries of slavery is probably not going to do hip hop justice. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to land with that.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. Let's go to Ray Rock. Go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, y'all had so many topics. I'm more focused from what I first wanted to say. I was going to ask the people that's old enough, they remember Soul Train in the beginning when it was all black. It was a big difference once they started letting everybody in, and then it fell off totally.
You know, I was old enough to watch it in the 80s and stuff. Like when I watched it, because I didn't get a chance. I wasn't even, around for to watch it in the 70s or whatever. When I watched it in the 80s, you're right. Like when you look at the old 70 ones, it's just pure black. When you look at the ones with the 80s, and you got Chinese girls up in here, you got white girls up in here, so they started adding a little mixture and whatnot. But in the 70s, they was getting it. Like in the 80s, they was getting it, but they wanted to be cute. In the 70s, they came. It was a show. It was showtime. Like, look, we finna. I don't know. And sometimes it was hard to say who was dancing better, the brothers or the sisters. Because sometimes the brothers they wanted to put it on more than the sisters, and then the sisters like hold on. So it was a difference. The 80s and the 90s, they wanted to be cute. They wanted to have this professional type look and whatnot. The ones in the 70s, they got their afros, they got their bell bottoms on. They up there with the music. I mean, they getting it. So it's a difference. Like the 80s is straight. Don't get me wrong. And that's when I grew up, and that's when I started watching it. But the 80s Soul Train had a kind of impact that the 70s had. The 70s was it. The 70s was an iconic version. The 80s and 90s was okay.
I think in the 70s they had that one Asian girl, if I remember, but that was it. Everybody else was black.
I think that Asian girl came in the 80s. She was in the 80s. She came. Yeah, she came in the 80s. In the 70s, it was Chocolate City up in the 70s.
Yeah, the Asian girl came sometime in the mid 80s, guys. You talking about the one with the long hair?
Yeah,
that came all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I used to look at her. I'd be like, oh my god, where did they get her from? And,
she was up there. She was in the 80s. And like I said, by the time I started really watching Soul Train, it was like the late 80s and whatnot. I was old enough, like big enough to really, so, it wasn't that same, it didn't have that same, they showed it and it was popular, but then you start looking at like the old clips of the 70s and whatnot. Like, I mean, like I say, it was on a different level in the 70s and whatnot. It was really iconic in the 70s. And to give Soul Train its due, it went all the way to the 90s and stuff too. So it stayed around alone. It was on TV by 20 some years. So it had to be the longest running black program in the history of television, I would think.
Yeah, but I think at the time
we didn't have a lot to watch on TV to see us in the 70s too. So everybody was watching Soul Train Saturday morning after cartoons went off, for sure. So that was
back on that, man. Dang.
Have a lot of other stuff. Very few think we had good times. A couple of black shows that was white on that we know now. But Saturday morning, we didn't have a lot. That's how LA culture kind of reached New York, because everything we saw on TV was Hollywood, LA. So that was really the only connection versus social media we have now, where everything's connected.
Yeah, and you talking about no social media, you talking about no cable TV at the time and stuff for y'all in the 70s and whatnot. So yeah, you talking about a whole nother era that most of the people couldn't even imagine nowadays and stuff. Because even when I came around, when I got old enough, cable was around and whatnot, and cable was it. So you had cable. I don't know somebody kind of got like a little background noise going on, but Mr. Engage, and we're gonna go ahead and let you get on the mic. Everybody, make sure you got your mic on.
One more thing, I think that was Mr. Engage talking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like you said, nobody's saying they didn't contribute it, but they just said they trying to take it over like they created. So that kind of.
I'm sorry, Reg. They didn't contribute nothing. I'm tired of it. They didn't do a damn thing. They didn't contribute. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. I'm sick of them. I am sick of them. They did nothing. I mean, our culture. Period.
They jumped in it because, like I have to acknowledge now, I wasn't, since they taking it back to 72 and 73. I wasn't aware of the streets, but I know that after that, probably about 75, I was, and I know what no kind of Caribbean or was involved in hip hop. I didn't even hear the word. Matter of fact, the word rap, I didn't even hear it till Sugar Hill Gang came out. I know they just said rocking the mic, they jamming, blah blah blah. But the word rap, I think that's what started it. When Sugar Hill Gang came out, that particular word. So the labels do kind of can mislead you as far as when things started. And in my opinion, KRS-One lost that versus with Big Daddy Kane because he got too Jamaican with his rhymes when he didn't make the records like that back in the day. But I don't forgot everything else I wanted to say because we got to too many different subjects. But thanks for listening to me again. Everybody support Marcel. I got him on my monthly automatic to his campaign, and everybody else need to do that too. If it ain't but $10, if all of us gave $10, $20, it'll add up. Peace, y'all.
Definitely. Thank you. Mr. Engagement, I know you had your hand up, and we'll get back to you, the art of appeal, but Mr. Engagement, go ahead and unmute your mic. And somebody, I hear like background noise, you're going to have to mute your mic, somebody.
I think that's you, Reg Rock. But hey, Reg Rock, where you say you was from again, though?
I grew up in Queens. I left Queens. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to say, too. I left Queens in 83 when I went in the Navy, and when I just recently went back, I mean, not for the first time, but I had seen how the neighborhood has changed. I mean, I went to Green Acres Mall. All I heard was African accents, Jamaican accents, and a couple of my friends that are still there and saying, hey, all these people moving out here, they're messing up our neighborhood from like what it used to be. So we probably do need to come on back down south, like Marcel said, and get our numbers up. Because as long as we got so many tethers involved in our shit and undermining us, that's definitely going to be a detriment. So we get our numbers up. Come on back down south. It's cool down here.
Hey, connect with me in the background, Reg, but I'm kind of blocked, so I'm not sure if you can even get my messages. But I'm over here in Jersey. I'm trying to connect with some folk in New York. So plug me with your people because we all saying the same thing, but nobody want to say that. We tired of the tether rooms, as you say, but nobody want to speak on it, though. So, let's make it happen, man.
I was kind of feeling bad, thinking I was prejudiced because I felt a certain way because I'm walking around my neighborhood and that's all I hear now.
But now, my bad, not to reveal the age, How old are you, brother?
I'm 55.
Right, so you said you moved out of New York when?
83 when I got out of high school.
You left 2 years before they started coming up here, bro.
Yeah, that's what my brother was telling me. After I left was when the masses came, and that's when the attitudes changed.
Yeah, so the same narrative you have of you think you might be being some way, but not really, because I got some family that's born up here, but they moved other parts of the states, what I mean, other across the country rather, and they don't understand how I be talking, so they were like, "Damn, cuz what's good?" You know what I mean? Yo, you have no idea, cuz y'all left. You know what I'm saying? We had to deal with these people and lock hands with these jokers, yo. Real talk. That's what the whole black space was about. Fighting these other races, Italian, Jews, and others. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just to go down to the disco and have some fun on a Friday. You know what I mean? We got to fight y'all just to go to the club. You know what I mean?
So Whip or Whip then.
Say that again?
So Whip or Whip then.
Oh yeah, I'm learning all the history as we all go along too. But I know a little bit about some of them DJs up in there because my uncles are normal. They be telling me, and I got some uncles who are Rican straight up. They be telling me about the Zanzibar days. I went in there like 2 or 3 times because they eventually converted part of it into a hotel. It was called the Lincoln Hotel, but we used to call it the Stinking Lincoln. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember Zanzibar, but like I was saying, since they taking it back to 72, 73, I was too young then. But I do know 75 and up what the deal was with it. And I thought that was the beginning. Maybe it wasn't. So I can't speak on it if they saying 72, 73. And in the Bronx, and I was in Queens, so I can go as far as back when I went. And I know there was no Caribbean nothing with hip-hop until the records came out, I can say. And then they started adding some flavor, which was cool. Ain't nobody saying it wasn't cool, but they didn't start it.
No. I'm old, and I put a pool in my yard and fill it with water, and you come jump in, and I say you swim real well. That don't mean you contributed to it. You just came and jumped in what I already did. They ain't do nothing. Now, Jamaicans and Puerto Ricans did nothing for hip-hop, but try to take it from us. They ain't getting no credit from me. I'm glad I'm not in that hellhole known as New York City, having to deal with all those anti-Black American immigrants. I'll take the rural South any day.
Yeah, Marcel, you going in on them, bro. You say you won't give them like no credit, huh?
They don't deserve no credit. It's the truth. We the only group that go around saying, "Well, you did a little." They ain't do nothing. Now, if anything, we made their culture. Latin jazz that started by South Carolinian Dizzy Gillespie. Okay, Afrobeat he was copying James Brown. That's South Carolina. Hell, if anything, you know what? Let's really start a trend. Let's say Afrobeat, reggae, salsa came from South Carolina. Now, they don't deserve no credit. They're not getting a crow.
Hey, yo, Marcel, let's say Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin created merengue. You know what I'm saying?
Myself, my man, he hardcore, but he a little prejudiced against us New Yorkers. I want to say, I'm just playing. I wanted to tell you this before. I caught what you said was all that New York toughness what we needed. I started cracking up when you said that. I'm
gonna let my man Mr. Engaging. I know he's been waiting for a minute. Mr. Engaging, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro. Mr. Engaging, you there?
Matter of fact, that brother be on the clock on the late night, I think too.
Oh yeah. He sometimes I know he be doing this thing too. So okay, yeah, we can always come back to him. The Art of Appeal. Go ahead and you got your hand back up.
Yeah, man. I posted immigration about the numbers. It's a YouTube video, so it's about a 12-minute watch. I recommend everybody watch it. It is give us reason and logical reasoning why we shouldn't be having immigration period, let alone to the extent we have it already. And there's a lot of good information in there, and it's not about when you're against immigration. It shouldn't be looked at like you're against those people, because it's actually helping those people. And that's the part of this that in the video that you should really pay attention to. All right, I'll end with that.
All right. We said Mr.
I'm sorry, I'll say something. I don't care if they do think we are against those people. Y'all, we got to stop trying to be the good guy. We right. But even if they think we're the bad guys, let's embrace that. We're the villains. Now, they're going to say we the villains anytime we stand up for ourselves. I'm not here to try to, understand me now. You can't make a person understand who doesn't want to understand. Our claims have been laid out, explained thoroughly. So if they think we're the bad guys, I embrace it. The villains have more fun anyway. Now.
You're right, Marcel. That's one thing I said. We've been too inviting and whatnot into the actual culture. And then when we invite these people, they kind of pretty much just step on you and whatnot and tell you what's what. So I definitely can get that attitude that you're talking about we need to have with them and whatnot, because we just pretty much been a pushover. We come in and we let these people come in, and after a while they end up dictating and running the show and whatnot, and we just sit up and we got our hands up in there and tell, hey, what happened? DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, hit my Instagram page, y'all. I got fire over there talking about this same issue. You know what I'm saying? We created all this shit. Marcel Wright, myself, president 2028. You know what I'm saying?
What's your Instagram?
Same name, DJ Sag One. Same name. Look me.
Gotcha.
Matter of fact, just Google me. Just Google it. I'm everywhere. Let's get it. But yeah, I'm talking about the prejudice of the music business. The music business, I call it the family business, our family business. But we don't own none of this shit, but we created it all. But, you know, I understand. We could just create some other shit. We don't really give a fuck. But we're about to take this motherfucker back because, that's all our shit. Everything. You know what I mean?
We just got to record the history. Like, we got to be the arbiters of the truth or information when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? You got to grab that. And I don't think we do enough of that. They be making museums and all this other random shit. We need to make the libraries and museums. We used to make libraries and museums. I don't know why we changed that, but we need to get back to that.
We still making them. No, we still making them. There's plenty of museums that are small, freeman owned, especially in South Carolina. Plenty of them. They don't get a lot of attention. They're not well known. But you drop to a lot of these little towns in South Carolina, you'll find a museum and somebody like this one lady. She has a little shed house. She has a museum there about that part of South Carolina. But we also have big museums coming that's focusing on us. The important thing in these museums is who's on the board. Because as you see what's happening with the Smithsonian, they're trying to do some damn Afro-Latino section of what should be about us. So the thing with museums is who's on the board, but there's plenty of museums being constructed that's focusing on our history. But the people on the board are trying to black and brown and all lives matter our history. That's the problem. But no, we're still building museums. One of the largest museums, I don't know. I don't want to qualify it, but a very huge museum. I think it'll be one of the largest museums in America. Is being built right here in South Carolina. The museum, the National Museum of Black American History, right here in Charleston. But watch out, they're trying to all lives matter it already. So, but see now, that's in my neck of the woods. I'll pull up in a second. See, I don't get that. Some of y'all who like live in big cities, like y'all don't be pulling up on these people. But this one will be here in Charleston. Let them try to all lives matter our history and watch me pull up. Now the cops might pull up and have to pull off with me, but watch me pull up though. See, y'all be down the street and y'all be walking past while they just disrespecting us and just getting away with it. Our brother Melrose in New York City, he's going to be going to Fat Joe's clothing store to pull up on Fat Joe about his comments. Are we going to support him? Okay? That's the type of opportunities people in New York City. Y'all have those opportunities. Y'all could pull up on these people. Like they have businesses and stuff down the street. I'm in South Carolina. Now a lot of things are going on here with these type of people. But when they come, I be driving to pull up on them. Okay? So when this museum open up, if I see they trying to black and brown and all lives matter history, I'm pulling up on this museum. This is one of the few times I'm gonna have something right in my neck of the woods. We being too complacent. We being too relaxed. It's getting to me.
Oh, Marcel, tell you now, this is what we was talking about. You know, a lot of our black people up there in New York for years have just went along with a lot of this nonsense. They've gone along with letting people call them the N-word and stealing their culture and whatnot too. So really, that's a space for a whole nother time because a lot of our brothers in New York and stuff, and you don't hear any of the hip hop stars in New York call these people out on this stuff right here. They'll do a track with Fat Joe, let Fat Joe say nigga this, nigga that, nigga that, nigga that, and won't say, and then sit right up there and follow behind him and start saying nigga this, nigga that, nigga that.
And well, I think another thing, where was Busta when he talked about we didn't have no culture until Latinos and Jamaicans came or Caribbean people? Where was he when he said that? Was he in New York City when he said that on stage?
Probably. I'm not sure, but
y'all, he would never be able to come to Memphis, Tennessee, or New Orleans, or Charleston, Savannah, and say to Black Americans that we had no culture until West Indians and Latinos came. He would get ran out of the state. I don't know what's going on in some parts of the world. I know New York City has a lot of immigrants, and some of our people, I can't speak what's going on there. He would not have been able to come to a southern city and say to us that we had no culture until Latinos and West Indians came. He would have gotten annihilated.
Here's my thing. Why won't anybody else in hip hop or rap call him out on that? Black Americans, they just sit there, and a lot of times it's not just him, and it's just not Fat Joe. We had Nicki Minaj saying stupid stuff. When you had Rihanna saying stupid stuff, you don't hear any of the Black Americans sit up here and check them. Like, I wondered if somebody like Tupac was around today, and he heard that comment that Busta said about Black Americans not having culture and this and that. Would Tupac be in the PC crowd nowadays and act like ignore it, like he didn't hear it, or will he rip him like we know that he used to rip people apart back in the day? Because you don't have that with these actual rappers today.
The only New Yorker that I know who goes in on them is Azealia Banks. People can criticize her all they want for her antics, but she go when Kendrick Lamar talk about Black Americans don't respect ourselves, she went in on them. When Kanye was out there doing with the Confederate flag, she went in on him. She's the only one that has heart. Because of her antics, sometimes when she's on point, it gets overlooked. She's the only one that will have heart to be calling off these off-court antics. And she's Freeman, and she's a New Yorker.
Yeah, she might be the only one. Now, she say some wild stuff where I be like, good Lord. Like, this chick be saying, she be on, like, this, you talk about somebody not having a filter. Like, this girl be saying she be saying some stuff in there, man. Like, damn, like, I'm surprised that they haven't really blackballed her for real. Some of the type of stuff she actually be saying about some of these bigger artists and whatnot. But you're right. She will go ahead and she will say stuff. She's pretty unapologetic. Sometimes she's really, really over the top with it. And you be like, damn, like, but she will say some stuff about it. I'll give her that much. Aunt Lai, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
How y'all doing? I'm feeling a little sensitive because y'all talking about the Northeast. The Northeast, even though I'm not from New York, I don't like New York. One of the reasons why a lot of them don't say nothing because it is a lot of foreigners. A lot of the people who are like foundational Black Americans move down south because of the rent prices. You've seen an article about $4,500 a month. A lot of people can't afford that. So a lot of Black Americans move down south from New York. If you know everybody in Brooklyn, Bronx, they live in Atlanta now. So that's one reason why a lot of Foundation America. The second reason why is because they don't want the publicity with it. The third reason is a lot of like you can call me Aunt La Tupac because as a person who stand up, I get like a lot of people don't. But I filed a lawsuit against the tyrant branch of government. So not everybody in the Northeast roll over and take it. Some do, but some don't. And the ones that necessarily do, you got to understand a lot of them are tethers. So because they are not foundational Black Americans, they're okay with it. They're okay with the Fat Joe, like Cardi B. A lot of them are cool with her antics and things like that, but it's not a lot of Black Americans in New York that really can speak. It's also about getting a platform to say what's really going on out here. Even though, again, I'm not from New York, thank God, but in New Jersey is between New York and Philadelphia. So a lot of what's going on is hushed up. And a lot of the rappers from New Jersey, if Redman says something, nobody will probably hear about it, and Redman will probably speak the facts on it. Or Naughty by Nature. He don't have a platform or a microphone like some other people, and especially since New York is right there. But we do get down on the East Coast. I'm literally, again, I didn't have an attorney when I filed my lawsuit. We about it. We stand up. Not everybody, roll over and take it. Some people do, but a lot of those, they stick together. A lot of those islanders, again, 9 million population in the state of New Jersey, it's a lot of Caribbean holidays, and you get out of school for this, and they got the parades, and a lot of Black Americans have moved down south. So you have the foundational Black American ideology and how we think and we feel about things, it's not here because you have a lot of the other cultures. You can go to New York and you'll have the little Haiti, you'll have Cuba, you'll have all these other different islands, and that's where their loyalty to. Their loyalty is not for us. That's why I'm glad a lot of people are saying something to them. Again, a lot of them don't have a platform. They just regular, Raheems and things like that. But a lot of us are sticking up for the BS that's going on, and Fat Joe gonna feel it. He gonna feel it eventually because they talk smooth. Again, a lot of these people are giving them this microphone, these culture vultures, but a lot of it is about money. I believe the crazy guy said it earlier when he said we need to talk about the industry. We absolutely do, because that's why, like, it's called a master. A copy is called a slave. In the record deal, they still use this terminology. You still use the terminology of master. You still use the terminology of slave, and they are still, again, signing the contract. You literally signing your blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of artists don't get their right due. And Isaac Hayes, like he said, which is sucks, had to be on the road literally to his dying day because it's so exploited. So we have to be very, very careful about the exploitation of it. And a lot of times, a lot of people sell them souls. And we have a lot of blackface. We have some of these people who want to get famous and they're willing to do any and everything, and they don't necessarily, as a black person who has morals and I have integrity and I stand for what I believe in, a lot of people sell themselves out because they want to get it. Like the dude who was wearing the diaper. He wanted fame so bad, he said, I have to do something to get better. Now, I don't know if I would be 20-something years old wearing a diaper like that, but it's whatever you got to do to get yourself out here. If it's wear a diaper or start a beef or do whatever, like even 50 Cent, like I can't stand him, but back in the day, what he did is he went after the bigger rappers. And of course, if you were nobody, you're not gonna pay attention because I'm the ish, I'm on top. But that's who you aim for.
What happened? Go ahead.
No, I just heard something, but I was just saying. So,
no, I was just me playing with you all out. You in that?
Oh. But it's just a lot of that in the culture of hip hop. And again, we have to get back to why it was created. When we think about these things, these people who do karaoke, that's what we're going to call it, we have to understand hip hop was created as a way, and like somebody said, that you had to use very clever lyrics to express your point. You wanted to talk to a girl. If you was in the street, it was about people expressing themselves and what their everyday life was. And the beauty of it, it was their own words. LL Cool J, birthday same day as mine, Capricorn's in the house, he wrote his songs. He didn't just have somebody, again, write it for him. It's a lot of karaoke going on. So when you call yourself, okay, can you be a rapper? It was actually can you be a rapper if you don't write your lyrics? What kind of that's like, can you be a singer if you don't sing your song? Like, you can't, certain elements to rap that we just let anybody come in. So that's why you have the Jack Barlows and the Post Maloneys coming in here and saying that they are rappers because they think that they can put two words together that somebody wrote on a piece of paper and they can say it fast. Anybody can learn how to speak English, and we just have to really start understanding when we really define what a rapper is. And I do agree with as far as having the museum and things like that, but we are in the process, like all the music that was created was created by us. They've stolen from us. They haven't done nothing to increase our value. If everything that they contributed to it was gone, we'd still be the shit. As a matter of fact, from a nothing was a hound dog, it was better before they even touched it. They actually made it worse. So it's just a matter of understanding that a lot of this is about the people who have platforms. They're given a platform to say certain things, and when you have other people looking at the dollar sign with things, well, they have a TV show where you can't say anything about this because you got a TV show where you don't want to say anything. That's why I like Tashina Arnold, because she's a person who's a foundational Black American, and when she sees something, she speaks when she don't give it. If she feel like this is something that's dealing with her and her people, she's real. Some people can be bought and sold, and some people can't. And it's difficult because the majority feel a some type of way, but we're looking for like people to connect with, and it's like they're selling us out. And it's nothing we really can do. But if we continue to push, I feel though they will speak on it. But New York is different because, again, the affordability in New York is at a point where a lot of people leave New York. New York is a lot of people anyway. They say they're from New York, live in New Jersey. Like, let's talk about it. They crossed that bridge. They on the Lincoln Tunnel. They on the George Washington, because New York is literally is pricing Black folks out. The city taking the cemetery of the Central Park, taking the Black folks' bodies and making a park out of it, is when they started getting us out of it. And they did that on purpose because they didn't want us there. And again, they're trying to take what we are, who we are, and they're trying to blackface. And we have to call a spade because a lot of this is really blackface. And again, like in minstrel shows, that's what we're going to call with them. We're going to call them minstrel artists, and we're not just going to call them rappers, because it's a disrespect to us to even say that somebody who is not a foundational Black American is a rapper. Again, I don't care what you call your minstrel show, just don't call it rap. I'll let my play.
No doubt. T. Morgan, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak again. Marcel, thank you so much for calling out that Stephen guy. I thought when I heard him speaking, I thought that was who he was, but thank you for verifying it for me. Aunt Lee, girl, you know I love you, but no, we can't give these people excuses such as money. If you're for the people, you for the people. And you can't let money be, when you see wrong being done to your people, and you let money.
That guy's a mega coon, but he's not Steven though. Just want to clear that up.
That was Shepard. That's Shepard.
Right. They're two different people. They're both coons, but two different coons.
It's two of them?
Right. That's a whole other
them. Yeah, this guy that just left the room was Shepherd Wolf. That's his name, Shepherd Wolf.
Okay, I need to block him. Okay, thank you. But we got to either don't support these artists who are not saying anything and force them to get out here and say something, or we just can't support them no more. Jay-Z has proven to us that he is a sellout. But y'all still playing. Y'all still support him. I remember Beyonce's fans, the Beehive, they told her, don't put his ass on this album. We don't want to hear about no museums and no shit like that. We want to dance. We want to have a good time. We've been stuck in the house for 2 years. We don't want to hear shit from Jay-Z. We don't want to hear about your kids. And I'd be damned if she came out with an album. He is not on that album, and not a sound from any of her kids. Because we ain't want to hear that shit no more. So what we got to do, Newstoter, you have a platform. DJ Sejuan, you said y'all are working on something. Y'all also got the group Be the Power. If y'all need a program director, I am volunteering. We can get our old FBA artists and give them a platform where their voices can be heard. And I don't know, maybe we need to have a meeting, start collecting some money, and build our own media program. What Roland Martin doing, that ain't what we need. We need our own shit, ran by our own people, discussing issues that our people need to hear about. And whatever, come on, y'all, we got to do it. I mean, I don't care. Let's have a call to action, and let's see what we need in order to make this program come off. And we all of us have skills. We probably already have the people out here to make this, I don't want to call it an entertainment show or education show or an FBA platform or whatever. We probably already have the skill sets within these groups, in these spaces that we need to pull this show off. And let's just not deal with those that are not supporting us, that are not standing up and cussing these people out, that are out here outright lying. You did not start, you Latina or you whoever, you did not do anything to start hip-hop in America. Because if you had anything to do with it, you would have had it in the country you brought your ass here from. I land my plane.
Hey, just real quick, Sister T Morgan, check your DM. That's where it starts at for me. If you could watch that video, and it's a learning lesson. But it's not a learning curve though. It's just a learning lesson. So if you could get through that, then you could come be the program director. All right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we have the content that we can actually do. We could do pretty much programs on anything from news or politics or education to entertainment, lifestyle, coaches. So we definitely have the content, and we could definitely do that. It's all about, like you say, just organizing and trying to get things straight and whatnot. But that's definitely something we're definitely going to work and try to do that, sister. We're just trying to, with everything, Rome wasn't built in a day. So we're just trying to take our time and organize and get the things up. And it starts with little things like this, just having spaces like this, connecting with our people and stuff, our people following us on YouTube and this and that. And then we start simultaneously doing the live streams. We're working on that too, doing the live streams and on Twitter and YouTube as well too. So it's just, it starts like that slowly, but we're definitely going to build that platform up. Also, it starts with you guys going to newstoter.com daily. I should be definitely, with the amount of followers I got, I don't have no huge followers up here, but I definitely should be able to get 300-400 of my followers a day to go to Newstoter and just, glance over some articles and whatnot. Just surf the site. You ain't even got to click on the article. Just surf. Go from the news to the lifestyle to the entertainment, and then come back to Twitter. So it starts on you guys supporting the Black-owned media, the black businesses and stuff like that. So we can get you guys doing that. That helps. That helps build a brand. That helps build and whatnot. And also our people, word of mouth. With us, things spread by word of mouth quickly. You guys like Newstoter. You like the spaces and stuff. You got family or friends or whatever that got Twitter accounts. So I'm like, hey, I love going to this one space that Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Y'all check it out. Come with me, know what I'm saying? They always have pretty interesting topics and stuff that they discuss. They open the mic up. They want people to come up and speak and talk about their experiences or how they feel about the particular subject matter, whatever. So, it starts like that. And then we can build with our own people. You're right. We have the population, we have the content, we have everything that we need to be successful. We just gotta depend on each other. And if we can do that, then we can definitely do so many different things to get things popping and whatnot. Like tonight, we all came together, me and DJ at the last minute. Hit him up. I said, you know what? I want to do a space about Fat Joe and Busta, about this whole hip hop thing. Around by 7:50, I hit him up. He like, oh, you know me, I'm down, whatever. Go ahead and we create the space, and bam, it's been a great discussion tonight. So that's just how things roll. I saw the actual article on Newstoter from Hip Hop DX, one of our sources we curate from. Even though Hip Hop DX, let everybody know, is not a black-owned source. So I let everybody know it's not a black-owned source, but it is on a black-owned platform, which is Newstoter, the largest curator today of black news today in America. So we went ahead, we put that out there, and that's just how we doing things. So definitely, we need you guys. I need 300-500 of my Twitter visitors, Twitter followers to go visit newstoter.com daily. If you have your pop-up blockers and you're reading the article on there, you may have to disable your pop-up blockers so you can actually read the entire article. I'm gonna go ahead and let you. Let me ask Ghost. Do you have anything, Ghost of Nat Turner? Do you have anything like to add?
Yeah, I do. So earlier I heard somebody was speaking and they said that they don't know these new rappers, right? So if you know what's going on today, to be a rapper or to get a deal, you basically gotta have committed a murder or something like that, right? So like all these rappers, I mean, if you
what if you 6'9"? Then how does that work out?
I mean, 6'9" is 6'9". I mean, he don't fit the murder, but he fit the bullshit proper. You know what I'm saying? Promote what they trying to promote. But look it up. These Lil Durk, all these Bun. It's a whole group, 2 groups of rappers in Florida. They call ATK and something else.
They come to find out from what I'm hearing, Von may be non-black American. So there you go, right there, bro.
And that too, and most of them are not FBA, right? But when they say rap, they're gonna say black. It's still gonna get put on us. So all these dudes gotta catch murders, and they the ones who get a deal. And they trash. I'm talking about trash. So I mean, like, I just don't see how we got to stop it. Like, we can't let that you know what I'm saying, be our representation, even though it's not us, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know like how we would. I mean, maybe what's her name, Dolores Tucker, holler at her. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're trying to gatekeep it, you know what I'm saying, the reason why it's so easy for them because they dumb down the talent of it. There's no talent. All you got to do is get on there and say how many bodies you caught. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't get on the record and do what Jay-Z do or what EPMD did because it was talent. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's crazy though. But if you look up the murders and the rappers, these dudes is murdering each other. I'm talking about the dudes out of Florida. It's two groups of them, ATK and something else.
I think the Sex Money Murder dudes.
No, it stands for like all the kills or something like that. They
You
all
might be talking about that YSL, because you know that's a big
too.
part.
YSL, look at him too.
Right. Yeah, Young Thug and all them locked up in jail right now.
Exactly.
All this crap. And the thing is, and see that was me that was talking about that earlier about these young rappers that's out here now. Because I don't know any of these guys. See, I grew up with the Public Enemies. The EPMD, that's gonna be me and Newstoter. You know, I'm telling our age now. Newstoter and DJ. See, that's gonna be ours. EPMD, KRS-One. See, we were those guys that were actually talking about something in the message. Now, I don't know what the rappers are talking about now in these songs. I have no idea. It's mostly like bling bling, or I'm gonna blow your head off or something. You know,
they're talking about real murders that they committed. They talking about real murders that they committed.
Well, so check this out. Jay-Z was going around bragging about how he stabbed someone or someone with the jail for him. I mean, this is not New York. I mean, there's been problematic elements in that regards way before now. So the people like to talk about this generation or whatever. This generation didn't just fall from the sky. The seeds of this generation were seeds that were sprouted by the generation before. So a lot of these elements were there, and we didn't check it. But here's the thing, we have two options, okay? Three really, and two of them are good options. One, we can sit and complain. I mean, we do so many spaces about music. There's two other options. One, there are many freemen. Again, I say this all the time. We want to talk about what we don't like. What about the Freeman artists that are out there making good music? They may or may not be on the radio. We may actually have to sometimes find them on YouTube, find them on social media, iTunes, Spotify. Go to your local club. Go to an arts performance. There are many Freeman artists making good music. Stop expecting the radio to spoon feed us our artists that are making good music and art, but we know it's not controlled by us. Now, that's not, I don't know what y'all, I mean, this is my opinion. When I listen to the radio, I actually do hear some pretty good songs. You know, I'm surprised. The radio's even playing R&B a little again. Surprise, surprise. So I hear some good songs, but this is not the 1970s where you listen to the radio to find out who was making songs. Now, you got social media. Social media has allowed people who probably have never been heard chances to put their music out. There are Freeman artists out there who are desperate and need our support. The only way we're going to get more of what we want is by supporting what we want. There are people out there right now making good music that we can support. Now, I don't care too much about music one way or the other. It's a part of our culture. We always going to be good people. We're always going to be artistic. But I don't worry about it like that. But there are good artists out there that we can find and support. When we support more of what we want, we get less of what we don't want. That's how it works. 3, one of the reasons why we need reparations, so we can start our own labels. Okay, a lot of these people that we looked at in the past, they sold out. Instead of them keeping their companies and keeping their labels, they say, "Oh, I can make money. See ya," and sold their label off to people who hated us. So all these people that we're idolizing, or all these and some of these rappers from the past, they sat back and watched our culture get tetherized and taken over by Jews. They sat back and let it happen. This is their fault. So there are good artists out there right now. If we can make it a project, I'm a person who likes to have solutions. How about we at each day we find a Freeman artist, whether on the radio, underground, that we like, and we support them and we promote them. That's how we're going to change things. We got to support what we want, and we get less of what we don't want. Because at the end of the day, if these artists that we like to complain about, if they weren't selling, they wouldn't be on the radio. They're on the radio because people are supporting them. And it's our fault if we're not supporting the artists that are actually playing instruments and can actually really have vocal talent. And we gotta stop. And y'all, the past is over. Okay, the old is gone. I love the 70s. Okay, wasn't around then, but I think the 70s was the baddest decade. Now I feel our best days are ahead of us. I really do. As cool as the 70s was, I don't have any desire to want to relive it. Our best days are ahead of us. 70s are gone, 80s gone, 90s gone. They're gone. We got to look forward. What are we going to do? What are we going to build? We have to build what we want. Expecting Jewish people who are controlling our labels now that hate us to give us the show our culture in a positive light. Which, by the way, art has always had some elements that people would say were not positive. They used to call jazz devil music. Okay, funk was associated with heroin and drug use. So let's be very honest about black music. They've always tried to associate it with negative elements. It's not new, but we got to build now. There are many artists we have out here right now who are looking for support. Many artists we have here right now who are looking for support. We need to build what we're looking for.
I agree. We do have to control it. We have to control it. If yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because y'all, I mean, we keep doing these circular conversations. It's sad. They used to talk about killing. The music sucks. Oh, I remember Public Enemy. They've been gone. Public Enemy been gone. Okay? They've been gone. They gone. Okay? They've been gone. That was a long time ago. We have to build up what we want now. The reason why the 70s was such a good era is because black music was still in our control and it was still kind of underground. The radio still weren't playing our music like that. We had the Chitlin circuit. We had control and it was authentic. Black culture is always awesome, especially when it's underground. It's when it goes mainstream that it starts getting problematic because it gets out of our hands. That's really the issue. So what we need to do is build up what we want. And y'all, when we build it up again, because we're going to do it, we're in an era now where we're gatekeeping the hell out of our culture. Our grandparents failed to do that. Our parents failed to do that. Okay? Our great-grandparents did it. Our great-grandparents were good at gatekeeping. But something went on our grandparents and parents, they had this we all black, we love everybody attitude. We're gatekeeping. So when we do our arts movement, this time there ain't going to be no tetherizing or Jews coming to buy it from us. But we can't keep complaining about what we don't like. We got to find the artists we do like. There are probably hundreds of Freeman artists right now who would love our support. If everyone in this room, if I knew an artist, I can tell you some. Gallant. I love Gallant. I know she's not full Freeman, and I heard that she was trying to big up her Filipino side. You know, she looked like she could be full Freeman, but her, I love her. I mean, I love Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a big music consumer. If I hear a song I like, I listen to it. After that, I don't give a damn, really. But whatever. I mean, if you have an artist you like, post them in the Jumbotron. Sage, our brother Sage. Yeah, let me put his album in the Jumbotron. He just released an album, an EP. I forgot what EP stands for. I'm going to put it in the Jumbotron, y'all. Let's promote the artists we should support, and we'll get more of it. Because at the end of the day, us being mad on Twitter is not going to change anything. Conversation is good. I think we need to keep discussing these things. But I'm a solution-oriented person. At the end of the day, what are we going to do about it? Because these dudes counting their billions of dollars, they ain't thinking about us on Twitter complaining about what they're putting on the radio. And Little Baby, and I don't have nothing against Little Baby, whatever. They ain't thinking about us. But when we start supporting more of what we want, and they start seeing they're less of what we want, then that's when change happens.
Hey, family, I just threw one up in the Jumbotron. Marcel, thank you for putting that suggestion out there. I just threw one of the artists that's been out there for a while, actually, and you can go on YouTube and check him out. He's right here from Alabama, named Fans Lee. Went to school up at University of Alabama, Huntsville.
Well, I'm going to put an artist out there, too. George Tandy Jr. It sounds like a preacher who's probably steals from the basket, but he's not. He's an R&B artist. He did it. This is the only album I've ever bought in my entire life, y'all. I wasn't an album buyer. My brother, sister, yeah. Me, no. But I bought my first album in 2014.
Hey, because like I was going through my iTunes and my iPad, I'm like, every song this guy has is good. George Chandis Jr., he has other albums out, but he did an album called The Foundation 2014. To me, it should won Grammys. I don't know if it did or not, but excellent album. We got to start telling us more about. Let's talk about these issues and problems, but we also got to start saying what we support, and we got to start building up what we want. So that's why reparations is so important. Once we get the resources, y'all, overnight every social movement that Black Americans do, it has a corresponding art movement. Okay? So this is the art side of the reparations movement. The 70s are gone. They're gone. I love Nina Simone. I wish young Nina Simone was still around. She's not. We got to find the other Nina Simones that are out there who are probably putting out good music, and they would love to have our support. But if we keep just talking about the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we can do both. But if we just focus on the past, we're ignoring the art that we could be cultivating here in the present that could be representing freedom culture better, if we want to look at it that way. We got to support our artists we have now, and they are out there.
Absolutely. You made a very, very, very valid point. I definitely reminisce about growing up in the 90s. I definitely reminisce, and I definitely enjoy the music better from the 90s than I do today. But also, the 90s is gone, and I don't have a time machine to go back and live in that time. So it would be nice to support some younger artists today that's talented and whatnot. So we just have to find a way to do that. But definitely, like you say, you can do both. You can reminisce, and you can still support the people that's around today as well too. So that's the only thing you can do. You can't go back. You can't go back in time, unfortunately. So you have to live in the present. So there's nothing about trying to go back. Enjoy it. I look at old videos and tapes and all that other kind of stuff, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy the era I grew up in, loved it and whatnot. But like you say, it's gone, so it's not going to come back. And the only thing you can do is try to go ahead and create something today. I mean, something that's going to be lasting, and try to not only that, have ownership of it as well too. So that's something that we need to worry about, is having the actual ownership of this stuff.
And I'm going to land real quick, Newstoter. There's a guy, I know some of you in this space are musicians, but there's a guy named Sin. He's not Freeman, his wife is, but he's an ally, until proven otherwise. And he's a music executive, and he is, offering, I think, distribution deals. Y'all got to contact him to find out more information. I'm not going to speak on it, and read the fine print for yourself, okay? Don't say, Marcel said, and Marcel ain't saying nothing. Read the fine print for yourself. But reach out to Pariah Sin, Pariahsyn. Man, he's a music executive, and he's looking for a Freeman artist. He has signed two. Other people have spoken with him. Some have declined. Some have accepted, whatever. But y'all, reach out to Sin. And let's be honest. I'm going to land with this. We tend to romanticize things as Americans. That's an American thing. We tend to always think the past was so great. If you go back, I was around the 90s too. The radio did play, I'll say, better R&B, rap music, but there were people who were putting out crap songs then too. And my parents were saying the music then was not that good, and no real music. Every generation is always going to have a problem with the current generation's music. That's just the way it goes. But either way, our better days are ahead of us. We got to look forward. We can appreciate the past, learn from it, build what we want here in the present.
Absolutely, I'm in agreement with you on that. And like I say, my parents, they baby boomers, and they definitely thought the music in the 90s sucked. I mean, they would give Whitney Houston or something, or Whitney in the 80s too.
My mother did too. I don't care what she says now, but she used to talk trash about 90s music all the time.
Oh, now they think it's just pure. They'll take the 90s off in a heartbeat over the day. They think the day is just absolute trash.
Exactly. In the early 2000s, they thought music just sucked. Now, they say, I love this song. This is a classic. This is my jam. And they hated that song when I was young, and I remember. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Marcel, can you post that gentleman's name again that you said was looking for artists?
Yeah, Pariah. I'm a tag him and put in the Jumbotron.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, with that being said, just to piggyback on Marcel, let some other folks talk. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, because we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna do like real quick, maybe a minute. We're gonna give somebody to speak because we was gonna get ready to close the space down. So I want to go ahead and really you just getting into the space. So I want to go ahead and let you go ahead and get a minute or two to speak and say what you want to speak. And we're gonna be hitting our last. We got Rilla, we got Aunt Lai, and we're gonna do the art, and then we're gonna end up closing the space for the night because it went a little bit longer than I planned. But we'll go ahead and let you guys get a minute or two to speak, and then we're gonna go ahead and close it out.
Hey everybody. Hey Newstoter, DJ Tech One, and Marcel, everybody in the room. The space has been great. I think there's been a lot of dialogue given, even a lot of history lessons given, and I'm always gonna stand on the fact that in order to move forward, you have to know where you've come from, and I'm always gonna stand on the fact that when it comes to hip hop, when you're talking about Run DMC and Funk Master Flash and the beginning of birthing of New York hip hop, and all of the greats who aren't speaking out right now. However, you have a plethora of people who've laid groundwork for the new generation to even pull from, and they are pulling from it because if you listen to their beats, even in the underbeats, they're using older sounds to create new music. And I think that we would be remiss if we do not actually go back and as we are forging forward to understand how we're going to move forward. Majority of people, in order to get where we are today with the terms that we use like Friedman and now foundational American and people are delineating and things like that. We are a people in search of our identity and it being uncovered. I think the upsetting part for me with Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes is that there are people who utilized and used, as I think the other gentleman that was talking about Isaac Hayes, which so eloquently said, use the oil of the essence of a people to funnel themselves into the community, only to emerge as legends have passed away who aren't able to speak on what they're saying, who would literally, and not all, I'm just saying people who would really be like, no, that is wrong. And I feel as if we also too hold responsibility because we were not in a mental space that we are in now today then. And so now we are facing the consequences of having to re-educate and almost kind of like repurpose our square so that we can be seen. And if you ask me, I'm in the business of looking for things that show my image that I can attain to or attach to, like hip hop births movie. There were movies like Love Jones, Brown Sugar, things like that actually, music influence. And so it's important for us to make sure that we keep our history intact. We control the narrative. And that people do not take the narrative and run down the street because they don't have all the information. You have to go out and you have to study. I'm not talking about the contributors who want to be recognized because the contributors don't even prop up the people who influence them. That's what's upsetting. Fat Joe came at the end of the 80s. He came in a different era. That's not the beginning of hip hop. It's not the same thing. And I thank you, Newstoter, for actually clarifying the conversation. And DJ Seg One, I understood where you were coming from when you were mentioning, different people from even different cultures who pick up the cloak of hip hop. And they're able to, almost kind of like run down the street because the doors were already open for them. You have some young white boy literally using, I think, B.I.G. music, Matty B or something, his name, or where I just posted about it, right? This is a little white boy rapping. And it's like, Paul Mooney was right. He was like, if we don't wake up and take hold of our essence and who we are, next thing you know, everything is going to be everybody else, and we won't have an imprint anywhere. An imprint anywhere because we don't even know the trail story, the breadcrumbs. We won't even take the time to go look at where the breadcrumbs are so we can follow them. That's a problem. And we need that. Everyone needs that. We all need that information so that we can forge forward. It is great to want to start to create because we need to, and to move forward. But you got to know where you came from. You got to have the information. You need to know. Get in touch, and I think Aunt Lai has a book that's so wonderful that we can all pull from. There's so many other people in music that have put out information. Go find it. Google is free. I'm just saying. I'll land my plane there. Thank you. This was a wonderful space, and I appreciate you for allowing me to speak.
No problem. Thank you, sister. Live, we're gonna go ahead and let you, and then we're gonna let the art appeal go next. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do like real quick. Give you about a minute, and then we'll go ahead and get to the art appeal. Give them about a minute, then we're gonna close out the space.
Not to interrupt, but can y'all mute Napalm? Because
How about the
a lot of
Napalm?
a lot of feedback. Or can he mute himself or something? I don't know if that's possible.
You say, can we do what? I'm sorry.
Napalm was giving feedback to the last speaker. So before the next one, I was wondering if he could mute that. Yeah.
You just have to mute your mic. I'm not sure exactly if there's anything we can really do at this point.
He muted himself. He muted him. Well, he or she muted themselves. Because I was going to say the same thing. I just want to say really quick, I apologize if I said something to make you think that I was aligning myself with. I like to answer questions. And I think I'm funny because I'm a comedian, even though I'm not a rich one. But a lot of times I joke with things and I say seriously. As far as with the thing about the culture is concerned, I just like answering questions because I have a lot of a little knowledge about stuff that I like to share. And one thing I was saying about the culture, and I agree with everything Marcel was saying 1,000% as far as being solution driven. But I also think it's important to understand the past and the history. So with the situation, I'm gonna give you a prime example. The reason that with Puffy,
remember, we're trying to wrap it up.
Real quick. I'm rapping. I'm getting the paper right here. I'm rapping. For example, when we talk about the selling out of the culture, what was done with, for example, the selling out with Puffy. Puffy sold like the clothing line and the label and things like that. White supremacy, I'm not excusing, I'm just saying, like, white supremacy forced him to sell. Because the FBI was recording his conversations with the whole Biggie and the East Coast, West Coast beef, they said, we don't want to N-word this rich. You got to give up all of this. And then he did the buffoonery. They let him have a little TV show. They was walking with the cheesecakes. And now he has alcohol, which is a detriment to our community. So I'm not saying he didn't sell out. I'm saying he sold out, but white supremacy. He was forced to sell the label, forced to sell the clothing line. And if you think about the 90s when hip-hop, again, we owned it. We had Carcanal, we had Fubu, we had Sean John, we had, all these things. They literally sold out. What company would buy these clothing lines so they could destroy them? That's white supremacy in of itself. So yes, Puffy is a sellout, but not saying he did it for self-preservation, but because he did, because the cases he had with the Fed listening to the conversations regarding the Biggie and Puffy. So I just like this. Just because I'm answering the question or saying what I know about it doesn't mean I'm in alignment to it or making excuses for it. I'm just saying that he sold out, but he was forced to, and he didn't have to. He could have said, no, I'm not going to do that to my people, but he chose to anyway. But that's exactly what happened. And what company, I want to buy Puffy Sean clothes. I want to buy Bad Boy, and then I make it trash. Think about that. Think about these corporations like the BET. They bought it to make it trash. It's the detriment of our people. I land my plane.
All right. Thank you, sister. The art of appeal. Go ahead and a minute or so, and then we're going to go ahead and close the space out.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it short. As far as this, the original topic, I posted in Jumbotron open education and open author. If I have one call to action here, it would be to learn open education and open author. we need to educate people on us. It don't need to be anybody else. And we need to put it out there. We can donate to people right on that site. It's free. They got skillscommons.org if you need to help somebody in the workplace. My grandfather taught me what he could about mechanics. My father taught me stuff about computers. Each one teach one. We gotta bring that back. That was a part of our original culture. And we want to try to save hip hop, or we want to try to save any part of our culture. This is what we're gonna have to do. We can't wait for somebody else to make a museum for us, or someone else to do this for us, because that shit ain't happening. I'll end with that.
All right. DJ, you got anything you want to add to the discussion before we go ahead and close this thing out?
Brother Jason Walker, follow me. We about to have a little space over on my space, continuing on with the same rhetoric. We could just come, be open over there a little bit more. Brother Tyler got other things to do. But with that being said, what you call it? I understand about gatekeeping the culture, but sometimes I feel like our people don't care about gatekeeping it. Because when we talk about, hey, look, well, why ain't none of these rappers that are Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, whatever, saying anything to Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes about what it is they're saying, right? Well, they just don't care, you know what I'm saying? Because, if that was the case, why ain't nobody go at Talib Kweli when he was calling ADOS trash? You see what I'm saying? But let's continue on over in my space. Come on over, and for those folks that follow me, I can't follow you back, but, I'm over here on some block shit, but we'll get to it in a week or so. But follow your boy, though, still.
No doubt. This is we normally just do the spaces Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to whatever time, Eastern Standard Time. But we had a football space yesterday, college football. We're gonna be doing that Saturday as well too. So we gotta do the college football, and we're gonna do the NFL space too when that starts as well. So all my fellas in here that enjoy football talk, we had a nice little space on Saturday. We're gonna do that again, maybe around about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Before we hit those games off week one, we're going to have a space tomorrow, an interview about a college student who was discriminated against by her university, a medical student. So y'all make sure y'all come in and check that out. That's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We went ahead and just put this space together at the last minute. And it was, everybody, it's just, once again, great dialogue. And that's the way we try to do it on the Newstoter spaces and whatnot. Have everybody interacting, sharing their ideas and their thoughts and conversation. Once again, we had a great conversation tonight, and I appreciate everybody who came to the space. Everybody, make sure if you guys are not, you're following the host and the co-host. Also, I'd like to thank everybody who also spoke tonight as a speaker. You guys shared great information. I'm glad to have you guys in here. And thank you to all the listeners who just sat back, chill, relax. Thank you to everybody who tweeted out the actual link to the room as well. And thank you to everybody who contributed on Cash App. For those who like to contribute on Cash App, it is $Newstoter. It's $Newstoter. Make sure you visit newstoter.com, the largest Black curator of Black news today in America, the largest Black-owned news aggregator today in America. So make sure you guys visit us, become a regular visitor there. Visit the site daily. We need the help. We need the support. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as well. So once again, thank you guys. You guys have a good night, and make sure you go check out DJ Space. He's going to have a space going on tonight, so y'all make sure y'all go there because the conversation will continue. Until tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will see you guys. You guys have a great night. See you tomorrow.